Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is that time. It's your boy Joe Castro. Oh, aka Philly Fresco. Are you guys hearing that?
Hear what?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I'm getting like playback from it. I don't know what's going on.
The remix.
Why am I Oh, I have my YouTube open. Okay. I'm like sitting here. Why am I hearing it twice?
I've done that before.
Oh God, I'm going crazy. We're back. It's really going on. I'm sorry about that. So it is your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco. This is Philly the podcast. You know I got my boy Brandon with me, but today we have a very special guest. Listen, I'm gonna put it this way: he's top two and he's not two. I got my man Joey Shakes in the building. How's it going, brother?
Good, man. Finally, bro. That intro just got me real hyped up, and the season's already over. But yo, like I am I'm really happy to be on here. It's been a while, long time coming. I know we've been going back and forth, like what time during the week, and our schedules just have it mixed up. But I'm glad that we're able to get on. Your channel's close to 1,000 subscribers. Very proud of you for all of what you've been doing and the work you've been putting in. So I am very interested to see what everyone's going to talk about today. So
it's interesting to say the least. It's going to be interesting to say the least. I mean, like you said, we are very close to 1K, man. So shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Be sure to hit that like. Be sure to hit that subscribe. If you do not know who Joey Shakes is, which I don't know how that's even possible at this point, his information is in the description. So be sure to go over there, check him out, and hit that subscribe, man. You got to join the family. But before we start bringing people in, I do see that we got this chat winding up as always. So I just want to talk to you, Joey, man. Let's talk a little bit about Eagles 2020. All right, like how are you feeling? And going into 2021, what are some things you want to see? But your overall thoughts on everything.
I mean, look, I think we came into 2020 pretty much. We can go back even a little bit more, even the end of 2019, last month of the season. Carson Wentz had to put the team on his back with all these pretty much these off the street receivers and guys who really weren't talking about too much, and really did a good job. Carson Wentz wasn't in the top 100 list. And, he looked like he was going to have a really good year this year. I think we all can agree if, he was going to get benched later in the year, we probably would have laughed about it afterwards. But 2020, you can't make it any worse than what it's been with this. It's the whole team. It's I think starting out with Howie Roseman at the top. Carson Wentz just regressed really bad. And coaching, I think coaching's a huge aspect of this year. And, it's been a really, really bad year. I think at the time when, Carson Wentz was staying in games, not playing well. And I was really getting nervous because I think my breaking point was probably by the Bengals game. I probably had my breaking point by that time because I couldn't really stand. We didn't look like a normal offense. It's hard for me to watch other teams play when they look, even bad teams that look better than us. And it's just to a point now where we're going into 2021 season now, and we get the 6th overall pick, and obviously a lot of coaching changes. So hopefully, obviously we could probably all agree that we were kind of surprised that one of Doug Peterson or Howie Roseman was not fired. We're firing everyone else, but them two are still in the building. So I don't know what the case is.
How you feeling about it, Brandon? Man, we haven't done this live in a minute, so
I know. But I agree. I mean, like you said, coming into last season at the end with Carson and the crew of misfits in a sense coming in and being able to at least make it to the playoffs, even though we needed some other teams to kind of play bad too, but we were able to make it to the playoffs. And then for Carson not even to make the top 100, he also didn't even make the top 110 when they did like a nice like little 10 extra player segment. And that just felt like that was a disrespect. And then we spent the summer debating with Cowboy fans on how Wentz was better than Dak. Who would have thought that by the end of the second quarter in week 1, things would have just hit the fan, and it just went down and down and down. Like we looked unstoppable for like 4 drives, going up 17-0 against the Washington football team, and then boom, just like that. It's like as if something clicked, and the team was like, "No, we're tanking on purpose," or something happened. I don't know, but it just went downhill, and it was just a depressing season. I was saying this in other lives and everything, is that not only did we stink, is that we stunk and still had a chance. And it wouldn't let us just be like, all right, the season's over. Every week we're like, all right, if we win this, we're still in it. Oh, we're still in. We're half game ahead because we got a tie. Like it was an abnormal season. It was probably the most depressing and stressful season I've had as an Eagles fan.
Yeah, and to both your point, I mean, it's like it was kind of a season of polar opposites because it's like last year we say it was the whole team. 2017 we're saying it's the whole team, and it's because we won a Super Bowl. We were underdogs. This year we're looking at it's the whole team, and it's like the whole team just is underperforming. Just not on the same page. Whether it's injuries, whether it's poor coaching, you name it. You kind of saw it with the Philadelphia Eagles this year. So this is going to be we were saying it off of stream, it's going to be a very entertaining offseason, if nothing else, because there are so many changes that need to be made on this Eagles team. And there's so many, aspects that need to be really just looked at. Like we say fire Howie. We say it like very passionately as a fan base. And unfortunately, I don't think they hear that. But I think they hear every other little thing. Like they got, Sidney Jones out of here because the fan base was kind of chirping for it. They got Rasul Douglas out of here because the fan base. So there's something that's going on between. Maybe it's the Christmas parties or something like that. But there's something going on between Howie and Jeffrey that I don't know. That marriage just doesn't seem like it's breakable. For me, I'm hoping at least we get some accountability and we get some positions of power, like what I mean by that, as far as just kind of taking Howie off of drafting, taking Howie off of certain personnel decisions, and at least putting people in those positions that know what they're doing. So before we get some people in here, let's just go through the chat real quick. Shout out to Cameron Holmes. He thought we was Philly Notion, so that's shout out to Philly Notion.
That cracked me up. I was trying to hold that back.
Shout out to Sports Talk with Let's Go Birds. He's in the background. We're going to get you in here in a second. Shout out to Sonic 2.25. Shout out to Fly Eagles Fly TV. And then Dom Jones asks, would you trade back in this draft this year?
It all depends on what compensation we get for Zach Ertz. And there was actually news today that I'm actually going to make a video on later tonight, but Ian Rappaport already talked about. Obviously, this was before the Colts playoff game today, and this is Phillip Rivers contemplating on retirement after this year, whether they win or lose. Obviously, they lost today. So Rappaport was talking about Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz wants to be with Frank Reich, and reported that a trade could happen with the Colts today, and I have a video of it. So it was right there. So I don't know what the case is going to be with that. But talking about the draft, I made a video about this as well. Depending on how much compensation we get, with Zach Ertz and Carson Wentz, if that's the case, and they might not have to trade back, but if they want to, we have a lot of holes on this team. I mean, our defense, especially a lot of holes on this team. I'm not really happy with our secondary right now, besides Slay having a couple bad games. No safeties, Kavon Wallace. I'm not even the guy doesn't match his talk with his play. It's just at this point, I don't even know where to go there. But if we stay, if we stay at 6, it just depends. Like we get a superstar, we get someone in here, but I don't trust this unless John Dorsey is still a consultant here. If John Dorsey's still a consultant here, then is he helping Howie with this draft? That's the question I have at this point, because I don't trust this guy. I really don't. Like it's too many holes on this team. That's why I said trade back and get some picks, mid-round picks to fill in some holes, because we really need to fill in some holes, because free agency wise, we really can't get excited about free agency because I don't know where our cap space is going to be by then. So
yeah,
I agree. And to just piggyback off that not trusting, I feel like if you stay at 6, it's almost impossible to really mess that up unless you really deviate from the plan and grab someone that you're reaching on. Otherwise, you're going to get one of the top wide receivers in the draft, or Micah Parsons. I've been seeing a lot of mock drafts with him falling to us. You could get one of the top corners in the draft in Surtain. Like there are players, like it will be nearly impossible to mess up that pick. But trading back even like 4 picks to get like an extra second or something, that's when it blows up. And I feel like that's where I feel most nervous about Howie making those decisions. And I mean, he's proved it. I mean, you grab, and I don't want to talk trash on Rager because I feel like he has potential. We didn't use him right, but you grabbed a punt returner at TCU over someone proven from LSU. It just doesn't make sense. And then obviously the J Jaw, yeah, it is what it is. Maybe he is better than what we think. I mean, he had his one great catch of his career so far, the last week of the season with Jalen Hurts, but he was trying to show he's going to mess everything up. Watch, but I can't trust how he traded him back.
That's the bad thing about J Jaw. J Jaw decided to be finally good when we were trying to throw a game. So it's like you can't just be who you are. That's what we were kind of counting on. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nah, that was just it, bro. It's just I really don't trust those mid-round picks or the later first-round picks where in our hopes, we're never going to be in this position. We don't want a top 6 pick. That means we stunk that season. And if everything goes right, we might not have to be back here. So why not grab someone that's known to be one of the top people on everyone's draft board during this draft?
So are you guys getting into, get the best player available, or are you going to think logically and be like, yeah, we probably need someone on defense this year?
See, if it's Micah, I'm doing best player available. Like if Trevor Lawrence is still there, I feel like you take Trevor Lawrence and you figure out what you do with him. Like at this point, like you said, we have so many holes on this team. You have to get the biggest value you can at that number 6 spot. You're not going to get the 6th best player, theoretically next year in the draft. So this is one of those times you got to kind of just take the best player you can. Obviously, I'm kind of just, saying Trevor Lawrence, but in the situation we'll be is probably going to be between, Chase or Devontae Smith or maybe a Micah Parsons or Patrick Surtain. I've always felt Patrick Surtain is kind of a reach if you're taking him at 6. I think Micah Parsons could be a franchise type player for our defense. You know what I'm saying? Especially at that number 6 spot. I think that's a good spot for him. But if Jamar Chase is there or if Devontae Smith is there, I'm not mad at those picks. You know what I'm saying? It's just got to be the best player. I don't want them going and picking some random cornerback that has, great potential. Like just take the obvious person.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like it's hard for me because we haven't hit free agency yet. We don't know what other moves are happening yet. We don't know what kind of draft capital we're going to have by the draft. So I really don't know. Even who our quarterback is right now, I still don't know what's going to happen at this point. I mean, I don't know what the plan is. Obviously, I think there's a lot of scapegoats on this team. I feel like they have blamed everybody else besides the 2 main guys that have really regressed this organization. Howie Roseman, since the Super Bowl, has pretty much, even as press conference, I didn't watch it until 2 days later because I knew I was just going to get hit with a bunch of PR words, and every time they ask him a question, he says something good about that question. That's pretty much what the whole press conference is, and pretty much saying, kind of humbled himself maybe a little tiny bit and said that he kept the same roster for the next few years after the Super Bowl because he thought if it worked at that time, maybe it'll work again. Obviously, it's gotten worse and worse. 2018, we were probably one Alshon Jeffrey catch away from going back to the Super, going to the NFC Championship, and then beating the Rams and then going to the Super Bowl. So I mean, at that point, it just regressed from there. And I haven't been kind to both of these quarterbacks that we've had. I've had my fair share. I made a video after the first game. I said, there's something wrong with Carson Wentz, and Doug's play calling is horrible. And yeah, and people said, give it a game. Just give it a game. Don't worry about it. And then sooner or later, look where we are now.
I was there after like the Bengals game. Can you hear me good? Can you hear me good?
You're clear. It just sounds a little further away.
All right. But what's it called? Yeah. What was I gonna say? I was after the Bengals game. That was kind of it for me. I was like, even though he came back, and that's what a lot of people started roasting me for. Everybody was like, "Oh, did you see him in the 4th quarter?" But that's the story of Carson Wentz. It's like he will give you 3 quarters of what are you doing, head scratching. At least these last couple years, he'll give you that. Even 3 quarters of the season, he'll just give you that kind of like, what are you doing? What's going on? And then he'll have a couple good quarters, a couple good plays, make you realize why he was a number 2 pick, and it's all forgiven. So like this year, we need to just start making the obvious choices that goes to the draft and that goes to even our staff. Like we haven't always thought that Howie was an idiot. Sometimes we thought he was a pretty smart guy when it came to contracts. But now, one thing that's been consistent through everything is that we've always said he needs to be taken off of drafts. So if that's the consistent thing, at least give me that. You know what I'm saying? That's where I am right now. But what do you think, Brandon?
Yeah, it's tough because, like you said, with Howie, we want him gone, right? We want him out of here. But at the end of the day, we need. No one's going to want to take on the cap problems that we have going into this season, especially if they're going to lower the cap or raise the cap. I don't even know what the NFL is deciding when it comes to this next season. But Howie's going to have to do some kind of magic. And restructuring these deals at Alshon and with Malik Jackson sounds cool, but unless they're getting traded or something, I feel like we don't really need them. Maybe Malik more than Alshon, but we need to let the young guys play. I mean, just letting the fact that we saw Fulgham deteriorate, I don't know if it was literally his skill because he is a practice squad player, or because we were giving Alshon the ball, like the chance to play because he was getting healthy. And those decision makings come between Doug and then Howie, and Jeffrey Lurie is giving the stamp to all this. So Jeff, he doesn't get any pass either. He's sitting up top. He could make any move at any point. And yeah, he's just like kind of letting it happen and seeing what happens. And he needs to step up too. But even like you said, Doug's decision making, you could bring it back to that Alshon catch in the playoffs. I don't know why they rushed to the ball before the 2-minute warning that game. They could have went to the 2-minute warning, came up with a play. It could have been the exact same play, but it wouldn't have been rushed. That's when I started to think like, man, Doug's decision making, and then it went to the next year, and then this year it's just like it gets worse and worse. Like we do need like a Jim Caldwell or a college guy coming in to reamp this offense, because Doug, he might be a guy that galvanizes the team and the players love him. His play calling is just not it. It is not it,
bro. Who is gonna want to come here, dude? If Doug is calling the plays, no OC is gonna come here. I'm telling you, like
right.
When you hire an OC, they want to call the plays themselves. Like as soon as Doug puts one finger on that playbook, they don't want to come here. I mean, that's really it. If Doug is calling plays, I mean, I really hope not, but
yeah, and even deeper than Doug. I mean, if you look at Howie, who wants to work somewhere where you can consistently have your boss over your shoulder telling you a worse way to do it? You know what I'm saying? Not just telling you how to do your job, but an obvious worse way. So it's like you obviously don't have much power with Doug here, and then on top of that, you don't really have any power when it comes to Howie. So it's like we are not a sexy destination.
I don't.
Years ago, we were those destinations that.
Yeah, no, I don't think even having like with Rich Sangarello, like I don't even think he even had much input. They were using him as a hurry up play calling coach. Other than that, 2-point conversions, using a probability sheet to figure out if I go for it on 2 points, on this play, then it gives me a percentage of. I mean, it's just use common sense, use your head. I mean, I don't know why he's making it so much harder. Like, stop. Like, there's too many voices in the room. Like, I don't know why they got to go through all. I know. Like with the 49ers, they kind of do the same thing, but obviously it works out there better than it works out here. Obviously, but
I mean, they run the ball. They run
the ball. And their offensive scheme is just a lot
which to Carson Wentz's defense too, because they, it's already enough that Carson Wentz, they told him to gain 150 pounds this past offseason. I don't know what the case is. That speculation that maybe they kind of want him to buff up a little bit so he doesn't get hurt. In the 1 year, all we've been worried about Carson Wentz's injuries. That's the only thing we've been worried about before this year. And the 1 year he's not injured, and this is how he plays all year.
Seriously.
But before I blame Carson and blame injuries and blame Doug and Jim and whoever, I blame the front office for creating this monstrous travesty of a problem with drafting this quarterback in the second round. Even if Jalen Hurts win us a Super Bowl, just say he's a starting quarterback. If he wins us a Super Bowl next year, I'll still hate that pick regardless. I don't even care. I'll still hate that pick till the day I die. It does not matter. But something's got to get done, because this is, I mean, look, I think they're getting rid of the right people, definitely, but I feel like there's a lot of scapegoats. I feel like they're blaming everybody else but Doug and Howie Roseman at this point. So it's really upsetting that our organization has really turned out this way, So and another thing, not to cut everybody off, I could talk about this for hours.
What are we doing it for? Benton, man.
So when Doug said he was like, it's not all about one guy. It's always been about one guy, because we bring Jason Peters back. He goes from right guard to left tackle. Jordan Mailata comes in when Jason Peters gets injured, and then he plays well. Then the bye week came, and then guys started getting healthy. Then they benched Jordan Mailata. They benched him. And then you bring Alshon Jeffrey back, taking away snaps from John Hightower, taking away snaps from Travis Fulgham. Why? And then Doug having the excuse for Travis Fulgham that he needs to learn how to be an elite receiver, that he's going to be facing elite talent, whatever. And then you expect him just to come back in a few weeks later and start playing well, like when you don't have reps. You know what I mean? So it's it's just been really annoying to me at this point.
All right, so we're gonna bring my guy Honeycomb in here. He's been patient. I'm sorry, bro. I'm terrible at these call-ins. Forewarning to everybody. But we're gonna get you in here, brother. How's it going?
What's going on, man?
Hey, what
So
up?
how you feel
What up,
about
bro?
these Eagles this year, man?
Shakes knows exactly how I feel about these Eagles, man. He knows exactly how I
What's
feel.
up, bro?
What's up, man? I don't like. I don't know. It's weird. The thing about this organization, man, there's still no accountability. I feel like all these firings are still scapegoats. Because if you want my honest opinion, if you want my real honest opinion, I don't think they should have got rid of Rich Scangarello. If anything, the first firing that they should have did was get rid of Press Taylor. That's the first firing they should have. Because I told Shakes this last week or a couple weeks ago, how everyone around the league was bashing Carson for his mechanics. I don't know if everyone became a quarterback coach, all these Twitter people, all these YouTube people, but I don't know if they paid attention to Jalen Hurts' footwork too. They're not the greatest either. It's not good footwork.
So the one thing I will say with Hurts is that his skill set or lack thereof at least kind of fit what we needed to do, because our offensive line was trash. So
I disagree with that though.
Necessarily being that mental or cerebral of a quarterback kind of worked to his advantage this year, but I agree. I mean, he definitely has a lot to work on.
Yeah, I mean, I still kind of disagree that he fits the scheme. I really don't. I think a lot of it was just him bailing out on stupid play calls, to be honest with you. That's what it really was.
I agree, because if he was to fit the scheme, right, then we would have been having more rollouts. Like Carson would have been running like a run-heavy type offense where it's running the ball and doing rollouts and play action where Carson's moving. But it wasn't. It was more stagnant, and that was the play calling. And the play calling didn't really change much when Jalen went in. And like you said, it was really Jalen outdoing the system in a sense where the play was breaking down because either the offensive line or no one was getting open, and he was able to take off because he has the athleticism to do that.
Yeah, no, I didn't say the system was good. I'm not saying the system was good. He masked some of the system deficiencies. I think that's a better way of putting it.
My thing is, like, the whole Rich Scangarello hire was so weird. Like, from the beginning of the season, the whole point of him being there was the whole thing of, we're going to marriage the run game and the play action plays. How many play action percentage-wise, how much do you think they ran play action all season?
Not enough.
Honestly, I think they ran it a lot, but they do that little fake thing where he does this, and then it doesn't even look like a play action.
I mean, play action.
Right.
Like, they're running play action, not establishing the run. I'm curious to see what they do for OC, because I know an OC has to come. I'm curious, but if you want my honest opinion, guys, I think Carson Wentz is as good as gone. I think he's gone.
Let me tell you something. Do not. All right, don't be surprised. I'm going to tell you this now. They're going to thank me later. Do not be surprised if Press Taylor's the new OC of the Philadelphia.
Hey! I was thinking the same exact thing. I was thinking the same exact thing.
It just doesn't make sense that he's still here. I feel like if he was going to be gone, he would have been one of the first gone. To your point, you said it perfectly. I think he was the first person that needed to be gone. So for him to be here, I think that speaks volumes, to be honest.
Doug can't hire his own staff, period. He can't.
It's weird, dude. It's so weird how this organization's run, dude. It's weird.
My question is, what are they gonna do for the defense? Because you can't, with somebody like Doug, you can't get a defensive coordinator who, in my opinion at least, is like getting his feet wet, so to speak. I think you got to get somebody that's a vet that can just kind of take over the defense. Like, is there anybody on your guys' minds that maybe fits that bill, that can kind of take what we have and maybe make it good, make it something?
I was thinking John Fox. that was that was the name I heard through Twitter, and I was like, oh, that's the one name that made sense because
The
a lot of
Panthers
people,
guy?
the dude from Chicago, he was head coach for Chicago in 20 before Nagy was there, and then he was on. I
With the
think he was the head
Broncos?
coach of the Broncos. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So that's the name I heard. Everyone's saying Dan Quinn, and I'm telling you guys, if everyone's watching, none of you guys want Dan Quinn as a DC. You guys had problem with Jim Schwartz running man every single play. Where you're gonna have problems with Dan Quinn running cover 3 every single play.
And a lot of people are saying, what's Holmes' name from Detroit that just got fired?
No, hell no.
Matt Patricia.
Corey Unlin.
Oh,
No. Matt
Oh,
Patricia. They're talking the head coach,
No.
the guy that ran Darius Slay out, basically. Like, I don't know where people are getting that one from. I don't want Corey Unlin either. We had him as our DB coach, didn't we? Last year. I mean, what? I think we had him when we was one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. I ain't trying to bring that back.
And they made that guy a scapegoat. So why the hell would he want to come back?
right.
Dude, stop promoting from within, bro, because I'm telling you, like, defensive coordinator, you have Matt Burke could be defensive coordinator next year for all I care. I mean, it could happen. Even Mark Emanuel, he's been a defensive coordinator for the Falcons, so I mean, he's got experience with a defensive coordinator. I don't want to do this. I don't want to promote from within. I'm tired of it. Like I just feel like that's going to be like the cop out. Like they don't want to go out and look for new blood, like someone with a good. They need to look for people that have good resumes. Like they really need to. We can't do this anymore because it's not making us any better.
Yeah, I have no idea what they're gonna do. Like it's so weird how this team, like, they need to get an OC, a DC, potentially new quarterbacks coach. There's a lot missing, and they got to get a new linebackers coach. This is crazy.
Now,
Yeah.
let me ask you guys this question. Is there a possibility, playing devil's advocate here, are we throwing the baby out with the bathwater? Is that the saying? Are we overreacting a bit? Like, it is 1 year. We have made the play, and obviously, like I said, I'm kind of playing devil's advocate, but it's been one bad year. But the past has been a lot of injuries. We still make the playoffs. We've seen a lot from Doug Peterson. Is this Philadelphia kind of bugging out a little bit too much? Or do y'all think, no, this is warranted? It's been, kind of coming.
My opinion, this has been coming. I didn't think it was gonna decline this fast, but it's been coming. I mean, through the past years, man. I'm tired of talking about the Super Bowl, but after that Super Bowl year, it's time to kind of pay attention to what Doug has really done, man. Like since I know that 2018 season, it was about protecting Carson Wentz for after the injury. The season last year wasn't the greatest. I know all those injuries and everything, but still, you could still scheme guys better. That was a problem this season. That statement that he made with about Travis Fulgham that he's going against elite receivers and he has to get open. But Doug, you're an offensive genius, supposedly. You have an offensive mind. How come you're not scheming these people open?
Yeah.
So it's been on a decline, and I'm surprised. Like I said, I'm surprised that it's gone this bad this fast. But I mean, personally, I think it's warranted.
The playbook has got to be a page long. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, dude.
Menu. It's a Chinese.
I mean, look. All it took was I said this. Like Jalen Hurts had a couple good games, but I'm telling you, after teams had a blueprint on Jalen Hurts, what they were doing in the offense didn't take long, and the Cowboys read everything that was going on. But I think obviously in that Cowboys game, definitely, Hurts was moving way too early in the pocket. He wasn't being patient enough. Missed a lot of wide open guys in that game. Moved too early. So I mean, teams are starting to get a blueprint on this. Like, yeah, it looked good when it first happened because he just hit the field and, there was no game plan towards Jalen Hurts. But after a few games, teams are going to start to scheme and people are going to start to read us. And it's ugly. I didn't like that last game we played. I thought it was really ugly. So.
Right. And I agree. I think it's been on a decline. You can even go back to the summer of letting both Rasul and Sidney go. Like, even though we were talking about it as fan base and how they weren't playing well, that's still depth. And that was one thing that we missed this season, where we were picking guys out from the streets to come play corner, to come play safety and whatnot. So even if you get rid of one, you could have kept one. It didn't hurt to keep one. So I just feel like this team has been on a decline. And then with the whole Jason Peters situation, you got him dictating, if I'm not playing left tackle and so you pay me more, we're not going to pay him. And then you pay him. And then he still wasn't that good anyways because he's old. It is what it is. Jason Peters will be a Hall of Fame. And I'm happy that he was an Eagle for a long time. But he's old at this point. He doesn't have that step that some of the young guys were able to show, but they kept showing him loyalty, and he looked lost playing right guard too. So it's just been on a decline. Can you say this is a Philly overreaction? Sure, maybe a little bit because we're a passionate fan base, and when we're mad, we're mad. But you can see it in the writing on the walls. It just looks like it's unless we start picking up and hitting in the draft and maybe getting someone in free agency that can help out with our cap situation, next year is going to be a bum year too, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, we look back on when Doug kind of took this team from Chip Kelly, and we all thought it was going to be 5-6 years, forever going to be a rebuild for the Eagles. And he turned it around in 2 years. But if you look at those 2 years, our roster really did not change that much. I mean, the only big thing I think he did was bring over Patrick Robinson and bring over. I mean, these are obviously big things. He brought over a couple good players.
Chris Long.
Yeah, but nobody that's a huge asset. Nobody that's even in the league right now. Let's put it like that. Like, there's nobody on the teams that we have, obviously, other than like Alshon. I think Patrick Robinson was playing last year, if I'm not mistaken.
He's still in the Saints. He's still in the Saints now.
Still in the Saints. There we go. So I mean, other than that, obviously, you have none of those running backs anymore in the league anymore. So it's like, did he really do anything? And then
he got lucky, bro. He got lucky for all his free agents produced. I mean, he got lucky that year. And honestly, it was just a magical year. It was a team effort year. It wasn't relied on one guy. It was I'm talking first to third to fourth string. I mean, everybody. I thought we had. I thought that year we had the most like 6 injuries was like, oh my god, like 6 injuries was so much. And then you look at now. It was last year was bad, but this year was even like 13, 14 guys on IR. I mean, it was just crazy at this point. But you look down the road now and you see like what this team has become now, and all it is keeping the same roster. Howie Roseman thought this roster was going to work out, with the same guys and not moving on, not getting younger. It really pisses me off when I look at teams like the Ravens, when I look at teams like the Bills, and I've seen those draft picks. Even for the Bills, the past 4 years, I've seen those draft picks with Singletary and just the quarterback and just all these guys, they're trading for, Diggs and just all these things are just building up to what they have become now. We haven't done that. Like, we'll go out in free agency, re-sign Rodney McLeod, re-sign Jalen Mills, just do these cop-out, washed up, used to be part of this Super Bowl. I mean, just they need to let go. That's why even with the whole, with Zach Ertz, like, I appreciate it, everything he's done here, but your time has come, bro. Like, it's getting done. Then they take a quarterback from that played at Buffalo, University of Buffalo, and turn him to a tight end now, which I guess they look at, it's the tight end position is the most important position on this team right now at this point.
Shout out to Tyree Jackson though. He brought me, I think I won like 2 games in Madden with him in one of our leagues, Madden.
Hey, the Washington tight end used to be a quarterback. He's playing pretty well. I forget his name.
True. That's true. We just don't need a tight. Like, can he play corner? Can he play guard, Howie? Can he call plays? Can he do that? Buffalo, I think they're pretty smart. I think wasn't the old swoop, Ryan Hughes. We were talking to him. Isn't he from Buffalo? So they got some smart guys. You know what I mean? Maybe he could call some run plays. I don't know how many, degrees that takes because it seems like Doug just can't do it. So,
all right.
I mean, it is what it is. This team just seems so like lost. They seem so lost, and it's not even like a Super Bowl hangover. It's just you never had it. You really never had it.
You turned into the Browns.
Literally.
Pretty much the new Browns in the league now.
This is the Doug Peterson I think we all thought he was when he first got hired. Like when he first got hired, we were all like, who? We could have got so many other, we were like, we got this guy. And then after 2017, we're like, oh, okay, maybe, all right, we got this guy. I see. But now it's like, oh, the wheels are just falling off, man. It's an ugly scene. So what do you guys think? If there was a headline tomorrow, if the Philadelphia, the whatever newspaper, It's just like Philadelphia Eagles fire such and such. Who would you want to see other than Press Taylor? Because I think that's an easy one for everybody to say. Or fire, or even hire. Is there somebody that you would love to see, picked up tomorrow?
Hire Roseman, fire him. Yes.
If Howie Roseman got fired, oh my god, I throw a party stream. Not even kidding, dude. I'm telling you, like, you get rid of that, bro. Like, I'd fire Howie before Doug, obviously, but because he's controlling this whole entire roster, and even you go to the defensive side of the ball with even Jim Schwartz and stuff. Like, I feel like with the secondary as well, they really didn't play the ball. I felt like they played the receiver more than the ball, so that's why I see Darius Slay go up over CeeDee Lamb, get a pick, and I'm just like, where was this? Where was this all year? I haven't even seen this at all. I think we had the most turnovers in that game. Obviously we know how that went. So, it's just we're the most hated team in the league right now. But if Howie Roseman was fired, that would probably be my ultimate. Yeah, I would celebrate, and I would think good things are going to happen. Definitely.
I don't drink much, but that would definitely be a drink-worthy night.
Well, if we're firing Howie, then I'm saying hire Lewis Reddick. I think getting him back on the staff would be great. I mean, he was around during the times when we picked some of the staple players that are still here today, between like a Zach Ertz, a Lane Johnson, and Fletcher Cox. Like, those are dudes that have been here and have had longevity with the team and have been able to go to Pro Bowls and be good players. Since then, I mean, like the stat said, I think the last Pro Bowl player we had, or last good player, was Carson Wentz. Like, we need more productivity out of these draft picks. Because if we're going to miss every year and have bad cap, this is not going to work out.
Bro, what is it? Howie Roseman's 50 picks, 2 Pro Bowlers and 50 picks. Before Howie Roseman, 14 Pro Bowlers in 18 years.
That's
ridiculous.
I can't believe I'm disgusted.
It's like, if we know this, we're fans, right? We're not in the building. Why isn't Jeffrey Lurie seeing this? Why isn't other people going to Jeffrey and getting in his ear like, bro, do you not see what's going on here? I just don't get it.
I mean, but while we are on the topic, be sure to go check the descriptions, the links in the description, because we do have the Fire Howie merch out right now. So just a quick little just gonna throw that out there. I'm sorry, I had to. You know what I'm saying? It felt like the topic. It felt like the time to say it. So.
The shameless plug. I respect that.
Look, I feel like there's, if you look at this Eagles team, Eagles fans can argue about every single position. Some people could say, hey, I kind of like Edwards. Hey, I kind of like Singleton. Kind of like, Wentz. Hurts is my guy. You can go back and forth every position. I feel like one thing that all Eagles fans can agree on is that Howie Roseman is the common denominator right now. He is the worst part of this of this Eagles franchise. So before I get you out of here, brother, is there anything you want to say? Anything you want from the Eagles before you get out of here? Oh, can you hear
me?
Yeah.
All right. With me, I just want clarity on personnel control. Because I thought the reason why they kind of showed the hand with John Dorsey was, hey, this is the guy who might be in charge with the draft. But from that, I don't know if you guys watched the press conference with Howie. It kind of seems like he hasn't lost any control at all. So that's kind of scary. So, but listen, man, I just hope that they make the right picks this year. That's all I really care about. That's the one important thing to me. Like, if it's like, to me, if Chase doesn't fall, trade it back. That's all you got to do. I feel like Howie will just have his trigger finger going. It's like, hey, I want to choose this guy, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, trade. Like, that feels me. Just be smart. Be smart about it. Don't be the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah,
be smart about it.
See, I would even take it like the total opposite of smart right now. Just don't be smart. Don't use your mind, Howie. Just use your scouts. You pay these guys for a reason.
Use the
So
scouts, pop on ESPN and see who's the best number one top pick at that spot, and maybe just pick them.
call me or Joey. Call me or Joey, man. Our lines
Mhm.
are open. We'll do a call in, that day. So Howie, just call us. We'll let you know who's the best on the board. We got you. But hey, man, I appreciate you. Honeycomb, is it? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, Honeycomb J.
Honeycomb Jay, I appreciate you coming in here, brother. And if you want, if you're still on here, you're more than welcome to come back in. I just need to start getting other people in here, brother.
No, I'll definitely be back.
Yes, sir. God bless, bro.
All right,
See you
bro.
later, Combe. Appreciate it,
Okay.
man.
All right, so we got people coming in here. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. We got like 35, 40 people. Appreciate everybody. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you are new. If you do not know who the face up here with me is, that is the incomparable Joey Shake. So if you do not know him, go over to his channel. Be sure to subscribe. Even if you do, I know a lot of you guys be slacking on hitting that subscribe button. So be sure to do that. But shout out to my guy, Infamous 2K in the building. This guy's a staple. He's basically the
What up?
third
What up?
co-host at this point.
Yo,
But what's
yo,
good,
so
my guy?
before we get to the team, I want to talk about how y'all talk about Louis Riddick. While I was sitting back here thinking, I'm like, what I think that Howie had in 2017, which he just lost. I feel like we need a GM. We need to treat these GMs like they're players, right? I need a GM who's hungry, who wants to be that dog, who wants to go out there in free agency and be risky, be someone who's gonna be like, I need to prove myself to this organization. I feel like Howie in 2017 was like, I gotta prove myself, blah blah blah, this and that. He had that dog, like kind of like how you want a dog in the player. I want a dog in our GM. I feel like that's what Louis Riddick is. I want a player who wants to play, who wants to play for this team, and I want a GM who wants to draft good players for Howie Roseman. I want a player who wants to fix this cap, or a GM who wants to fix this cap, a player who a GM and all that. That's just to start it off. My whole biggest thing about the trade back thing is, I mean, it's hard to say. I don't want to. Me personally, I don't see us not getting either Smith or Chase because the only like actual like thinking way that we do it is if Chase and Devontae Smith is not there, is if the Jets go Penny Sewell in the second pick. So if they go Lauren Sewell, then the Dolphins, if they're going by best player available, then they're gonna have to pick Chase, and then the Bengals will just have to pick Devontae Smith unless they go offensive lineman, probably like Rashad Slater or something like that. So my whole thing is, if let's get to the part where we don't have Devontae Smith or we don't have Jamar Chase, right there. If we do trade up, I don't want to trade, like I remember Joey saying in a couple of videos, I don't want to trade past the 10th pick, maybe like the ninth, eighth, something like that. Nothing too high. Maybe, I mean, I don't think Jalen Waddle is a ninth pick to me. So I still want a receiver in the first round. But if you were the GM, right? If you trade this first pick for another pick, right? Further in the draft, you want two picks, right? So you guys want two first rounds, or you want two second rounds and one this first? So you go from like the sixth to the eighth, and then you get like a sixth pick in the second round, and like maybe like an eighth again in the second.
I'm taking it. I would love to just have more picks. I would love to have two first round picks. If that meant that we had to move back 6 or 7, I would do that if I trusted who was, making those decisions. I feel Joey Shea said this earlier. It's just the distrust in this organization right now. I want to make our decision as easy as possible. So if we, like I said before, if we keep our, list of top prospects under 10, I think we have a good opportunity at picking a good player. Once you go beyond that, God be with us. God just take the wheel at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, the whole thing is, I necessarily think Chase will fall. I don't see. I mean, I personally heard because my friend, he's a Jets fan. He's told me that the GM for the Jets loves Darnold. So the chances of them actually drafting a Justin Fields or Trey Lance are, like, to him, in his opinion, is very low. But the problem is, the factor that I have of them not taking Sewell in second is if because they just drafted Mekhi Becton at left tackle, right? So it's like if you put Sewell at right tackle, it may not work. I mean, you have Lane Johnson, right? Lane Johnson is probably one of the best tackles in the NFL when healthy. And there was a year where we put him, I forget exactly what year, but there was a year when we put Lane Johnson on the left side rather than the right, and he sucked. He was horrible. and then we move back to the right. And Lane Johnson is one of the greatest tackles to play football right now. So I don't care if his name is Penny Sewell. That doesn't necessarily mean he could play on every single position at the line, right? So it's like
Right.
if you switch what's his name to left tackle, Sewell to left tackle and the right tackle, and he ends up stinking at right tackle, then you just wasted your second round, your second overall pick. But then if you move Mekhi Becton to right tackle and keep Sewell at left tackle, and I don't know what Becton is, but if Becton sucks at right tackle, I don't know what pick he was. Done, you just wasted your draft pick right there. So that's the risk of taking him in the second pick when you have Mekhi Becton. The thing is, Mekhi Becton, no best player available at 3 is Sewell. I don't know what that means. I don't. Can y'all explain that?
I'm just going. I'm just scrolling through. Go ahead, bro.
Just go ahead.
Well, with Mekhi Becton, he's big enough. He's like 6'7", 340 something. He's big enough to play guard, but it's the same thing. Like that doesn't necessarily mean he can't play guard. That guy we just signed, Tyree Jackson's, he's like 6'7", I heard 250, runs like a 4.5. That doesn't mean he's gonna be a good tight end. I mean, he has the stature. That doesn't mean he's like good at. So that's my whole thing. Are the Jets scared of that? What if he can't play other than left tackle? What if are you willing to take that? I mean, if y'all were the Jets GM, what would y'all do?
I guess, I mean, to just go back for 1 second, I still wouldn't trade the 6th pick, even if I know I don't necessarily need a wide receiver in the first round. I can go Micah Parsons and be super happy that we invested in a linebacker. So that's just kind of my take on that, just to bring it back 1 second. But for the Jets, I mean, now that you got rid of Adam Gase, you really got to decide, am I going to stick with Darnold? Because you're going to have to pay him. This is the year you're either going to draft a quarterback because you're this high up in the draft, or you're going to stick with Darnold and you're going to pay him, and maybe you can work out some kind of a deal where it's a 2-year deal or 3-year deal where it's not too expensive, because he still needs to prove himself.
I thought he was drafted in 2018. Isn't he still on rookie deal?
I mean, yeah, but if you stick with him this year, you're essentially saying that you're pretty set on him and you want to end up paying him for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, unless they're really set on Darnold, then yeah, you draft an offensive lineman. I think that you have to risk it. You have to risk for the best offensive lineman, even if he's a left tackle. You just never know. Why pass up on that, knowing that your offensive line still stinks no matter what? So you got to just gamble at that point, and it would be a smart gamble. It wouldn't be a gamble where people are like, dang, that didn't work out. Wow, they suck for picking people. It would have just been like, well, that was the best offensive lineman in the draft, and you tried it out, and he didn't fit where he needed to fit. And maybe you could trade him in the future.
Yeah.
Just like how the Dolphins did with Laramie Tunsil. So, I mean, you just got to if you're sticking with Donald, I go offensive line. That's just the heat, because their offensive line is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Everything you said was spot on. But I was kind of thinking there, because I think if this is the year to go for a quarterback, then if that's going to be the case, then if how Darnold, this has got to be the year if you're going to keep him, or if he's going to be your starting quarterback, and see what happens after that. But I think depending on what Sewell could do, even I really don't know. I haven't really looked at him too much, but I don't know if he could play more than one position. If you cross train some of these guys, like you said. And just see what happens, but then kind of go into our pick on top of it. I know receiver is like, getting that superstar is we shouldn't even be in this position to even draft a receiver this year, but Travis Fulgham is going to be a free agent. Greg Ward's going to be a free agent. Marquise Goodwin's still on the roster. I mean, he's got to go. Deshaun Jackson's still here so far. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey's going to be gone as well. If those those restructures from Malik Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey is pretty much saying that they're going to be gone post June. They're going to be gone. I mean, they restructured them to save. They're saving over 23, 24 million, whatever it is, for both of those players. So if I was to really think they're going to go after a receiver, I guess, but of how many receivers are going to let go this past this off season, there could be a lot gone, and you really don't have much left after that. So
I would take if he falls late first or early second, I would take Rashad Bateman. He's like he's like the bootleg version of Jamar Chase. He's pretty much like he's a high point catch guy. He's a little slower, but like it goes for the draft order so far, like according to pretty much everyone is, and it's interchangeable between 1 and 2, but it's Chase, Smith, and it's between Waddle or Bateman. But I think Bateman has the edge up because what happened with Waddle. So, I mean, I'll take Rashad Bateman in the second round. Honestly, lately I've been realizing our defense does suck. Like, but my whole thing is, do you want to build one wall first before building the other, whatever you want to call it, right? Like, you want to guard one door of the Capitol before you guard all the other ones, right? You want to guard one like correctly. Like, I want to
See,
build our offense and make sure our offense is able to actually do it before we go on to our defense. Where I feel like a lot of the Eagles fans that I have spoken to, I'm not saying you guys, but the reason why a lot of they want to draft back is because they want to fill the holes now. I'm like, I'll be patient. Listen, I'll be patient. It is what it is. We suck. I came to realization. We're 4-11. Whatever our game record, I don't even like saying it. We suck. Okay, it is what it is. It's gonna take a little while. It may take 1 or 2 years. I don't want to fix all now. Because if you fix it all now, especially with Howie Roseman sitting back there, you're gonna want to. It's gonna be all rushed, and then our roster is gonna be in complete hell, and it's just gonna be bad. I'd
See,
rather take our
one thing I
time.
will say about our roster is that I feel like our offense has talent.
Talent.
You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? I think if you look, like, I won't say that they have, obviously a Jamar Chase would help. You know, obviously even probably a Penny Sewell wouldn't do too much harm right now. But
Mm-hmm.
we don't have maybe that elite talent on offense. But I think we have a very serviceable offense. I think it's just been run terribly.
Yeah.
As far as the defense, I don't think we have any talent
Nothing.
outside of Darius Slay, and maybe our defensive line, but they're getting older.
Hey, don't
And
disrespect Singleton. I'm gonna say him too. I'll add him
Singleton's
to the
good, but
list.
Yeah.
he's definitely not a star. And I don't think there's one player outside of Darius Slay, and I think he proved he can't do it all by himself. There's not
Nobody
one
can.
person on that defense that I can say we can build a future around. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I am as far as the draft goes. Like, as for the Jets, I think if I'm the Jets, if you're really that into Darnold, if you're not going to take the tackle trade back just because you can build so much, but again, it goes to who do you have
They could
making
trade
those
back.
decisions?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they didn't they draft Josh Rosen,
Yeah.
if I'm
No,
not
no, no,
mistaken.
wait.
No, they traded for Josh
They
Rosen.
traded for Josh Rosen. So the reason I bring that up is because they've made some mistakes in the draft, but they've also made some
Is he in
good,
the league
moves and
anymore?
pick the right players when they have those draft picks. So that's what it really comes down to. It's not,
Have,
you could have 100 draft picks.
have,
If you pick, Sarah Fuller from Vanderbilt every time, you're not going to have it. Maybe she's a great kicker. Maybe she's,
Yeah, Miami didn't even have to try. I mean, with the
they
Texans
kind
of
of
how
lucked into a lot of
have
they
stuff.
pretty much got as much as they wanted. I mean, pretty much.
have y'all realized that if we picked the best player available on the board, we would have Jefferson and we would have DK? I mean, like, that question when it comes to, like, should we pick the best player in the draft, to me is like a no-brainer. I'm sorry, Jay, but yeah, like, we would have those players if we picked the best player in the draft in the first place. We wouldn't be in the position. I feel like, and I mentioned this in Notion and inside this podcast. The thing, if we do go defense, I definitely do want a Mike Parsons. I don't want a corner right now because, like, we can maybe get J.C. Horn. I see someone say J.C. Horn early in the second. My whole thing about the corners is it's hard to play corner in the NFL. We've seen Jeff Okuda fall off the face of, like, off the planet his rookie year, and that's not to say he's a bad corner. I mean, it's a while. It takes, for some people, it takes, like Jalen Ramsey. It took him. He pretty much, he was a plug and play guy. He's the best corner in the league. Not everyone's the best corner in the league. People like Trayvon Diggs, as much as I hate that he's a Cowboy, you can't lie. The last couple of weeks he's been showing a little bit more promise. It takes a while, and not only that, you have to give some slack to, like, Jeff Okuda and all them. They did not have a preseason and all that. But my whole thing is there's not a lot of corners you see plug and play like certain, like Caleb Farley, whoever you want to mention. So if we do end up go defense, I do want Michael Parsons, or I mean, yeah, I'll take Mike Parsons. Ain't no or. We're taking Michael Parsons if we're going defense to me. And plus, he's great with tight ends, which we struggle. Like, if you look at the Rams game, Tyler Higbee killed us when we played them. So if we can have a Michael Parsons that can keep up with the Tyler Higbee, then I'm all for it. And then, I mean, because Alex Singleton, he's not great in coverage, but he was ranked second best run stopper this year. So out of other linebackers. So if you have Alex Singleton and Michael Parsons stopping the run, and then you have Michael Parsons guarding what's his name, the tight end, and Alex Singleton doesn't really have to worry about dropping back in coverage. I'm all for it. Type stuff.
Yeah, that's for sure. I just want a good team, but my thing is, you have to look at at this point. It's like it's that simple. I just want a good team. But no, like, I was having this conversation with a Ravens fan of my friend of mine, I should say, and it's crazy. And I feel like this year especially has shown. If you look at the Steelers, if you look at the Ravens, even if you look at teams like the Browns, when they kind of went on their little bit of a streak, and even the Giants. Everything is about your scheme. You can make your team look great
Mm-hmm.
if you have a good scheme. If you're putting your players in the right position, to make plays. These are all pro players. These are all people that get paid a lot of money to do something that they've been doing their whole life. So, in my opinion, we have to give these guys a new scheme before we say that, on offense, I think we're good. I do. On defense, we'll see. We'll see. Because, I mean, I don't know, man.
When's the last value trade we had? When was the last trade? I mean, I was already pissed off enough we didn't go after D Hop. I was pissed about that because every time we see a guy that's going to get traded, and we're like, oh no, he's going to be a lot. They're going to give up so many picks, and then we see what it is, and we're like a running back. I mean, come on now, like a second round pick, and you and a running back to trade for D Hop. I mean, you couldn't even do that. Howie Roseman cannot draft more than a fourth round pick. He'll never give up more than a fourth round pick for any trades. And usually when he trades for a player, it's for a rental. Most likely it's a rental, like Jordan Howard, same thing. And then we brought Jordan Howard back. Then he's put on practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
We're becoming the place that I feel like these players' careers come to die, and it sucks to say it like that, but like we're becoming like the I want to say 08 is when they kind of like the Raiders, like when the Raiders got a bunch of old people, they made that little Super Bowl run, then they just fell off, and they haven't been the same since, and that's where we can end up very quickly. It comes down to Jeffrey Lurie, in my opinion, too. Like Jeffrey Lurie, you can't run the Breakfast Club. I'm sure everybody has, their Sundays where they sit down, they read a book together, and they're great friends, and that's awesome, but that doesn't win you championships. So at some point, he's got to kind of put his foot down, man, because I feel like he doesn't like the change. We've seen obviously Andy Reid forever, and now we're kind of seeing it with Doug and Howie Roseman. It's like, yeah, at some point you got to put your foot down, blame someone, point the darn finger, and get it over with so we can start this rebuild. Because I feel like we're just kind of holding on and grasping on to what could be between Doug and Howie. But I see you squirming, Brandon.
At least make some trades for some mid-tier guys. I'm not talking about get the best guy like on a trade deal, but get someone that can work within the system, like just something like that. Like when we need Will Parks the most, and of course, in that one game where we got I forgot what the Seahawks game. It was Arizona. We lost 4 players in 2 plays.
Yeah, yep.
I mean, it's just that's another thing. The injuries is just crazy. But I know, but this is what happens when you have injuries. You got to have a backup plan. And this team, Michael Jaquette and falling on himself, that was the most embarrassing thing I saw for Michael Jaquette. It was bad. I mean, it was
so disappointing.
They even put Rudy Ford at corner. And you know what? It took the Eagles 3 times. When the Cowboys scored 3 times, it took them to pull Michael Jaquette out of the game. 3 scores. Right. I mean,
go ahead, bro.
Real quick, can we talk about this whole quarterback thing? Right, I feel like Jalen Hurts screwed us because I feel like if he would have played the rest of the weeks good, right? Like or like better than Carson Wentz, whatever the case may be. I mean, yeah, he did play technically better than Carson Wentz, but like he played like how he did in the Cardinals game, or even half as good. I feel like this demanding trade and all this stuff would be a lot more simpler what it is now. I feel like the thing about Hurts is the reason why there's such a question mark going into the postseason, and not postseason. I forgot it's not. Anyway, the reason why the offseason it's so weird is because now we don't know what we have in Hurts because as we saw every start he got worse, right? Every start that he had, we have worse. So we don't know. First of all, even if he did play like Joe Montana and Tom Brady, Steve Young combined in the first 4 games, you still wouldn't necessarily have the perfect idea what you have in Hurts because it's only a 4-game sample. But you would still have a better idea versus he does good at 2 games and then the horrible the rest. I feel like, and I've been saying this, I still think you get rid of Hurts, we're gonna suck regardless next year. And then if he in the first is not good, I feel like because I hear a lot of people like PFF says we're gonna draft Trey Lance at the 6th pick if he falls to us. We'll draft another quarterback, and it's like, dude, you just drafted Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round. I mean, that's not a bad spot for a quarterback. At least I feel like the most you can do or the least you can do is give Hurts a full season. But the problem is, if you give Hurts a full season, and let's say he does do good, and then like for like half the season, and then he does bad the rest of the half of the season, and then we have like a mid-tier pick, you can't really pick a good quarterback like that. And I mean, it's way too early to say, but the quarterbacks don't look good next year. This will probably honestly, I think this draft is the best draft we've had since better than the DK Metcalf draft and better than Justin Jefferson draft. I mean,
Yeah, this
obviously
is a pretty deep draft.
Yeah.
this is a very deep draft. So like you gotta hit on this. So like you have to be sure, and we're not sure because of everything that happened.
Facts.
Yeah. Speaking of like the quarterback situation, infamous, and we were just talking trades, what do you think is going to happen with Carson this summer? And do you think Watson maybe wanting a trade can implicate things if he does demand the trade?
What do you mean with Watson
Deshaun Watson?
coming here?
Like if no, not here. No, just in the trade market in general.
Hell no.
Oh, just
We
in
won't. We
general.
can't
Okay.
afford Watson.
Not
Yeah,
even
well,
that. I just want to say this before you answer that. I just want to say this because obviously I'm in a whole lot of Eagles, Facebook groups, all that stuff. So I see a lot of stuff. Listen, the thought of giving up our first round pick and Carson, or just our first round pick for Deshaun Watson, is, in my opinion, just this blasphemy. We need to calm down a little bit. Like that's all I gotta say. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I kind of forgot the question, but anyway, I'll try to answer it. Okay, actually, what did you say again? It was something about the offseason.
What do you think is going to?
My bad.
It's all good. What do you think is going to happen to Carson? And if he is going to be on the trade block, do you think Deshaun Watson wanting a trade could implicate maybe some potential suitors for Wentz?
Okay, so I'll start off with the Watson thing. First of all, I think Watson, the worst place he can end up is in our division with the football team. With that defense, then Terry McLaurin, and then you draft another receiver in the draft because the draft is deep. I mean, I don't think necessarily. Are you saying implicate as in like helps Wentz or hurts Wentz is getting his chances of getting traded because other teams might want Watson versus?
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of teams looking for a quarterback. In the market, you have a bunch of teams like the Jaguars, the Colts. They're looking for a quarterback. So I mean, I don't know all of them on top of the head. There's a decent amount of teams looking for a quarterback. So necessarily, I don't think that hurts his chances. Maybe hurts his chances of going to the Colts, or maybe like a good team, like he could be good. But I don't think that. I think if a team, honestly, I don't think the Colts would go for him because I mean he costs a lot, and they're gonna have to give up a lot to get someone like him. Versus like Wentz had an off year, but you've seen his upside, so like you still have a chance to salvage him. And and honestly, his contract is a lot cheaper than what people actually think it is. And he wasn't even paid this year. The whole thing about the contract thing is confusing because this year alone he was not 100 million. Technically, he was not 100. He still got paid on his rookie contract this year. So he's contract compared to like when Lamar gets his contract and all these other quarterbacks get their contract, he's gonna be dirt cheap when it comes to franchise. Now everyone's argument is, well, you don't know if you're paying a franchise quarterback and he's not playing like one. I get that argument, and it's a valid argument. I can't say anything back. But my whole thing is, if the Colts want Wentz and they know what they can do with Wentz, then I don't think Watson has anything to do with the Colts wanting him more because how much he costs and how much they have to give up, and they want to win now. And if you give up a team or whoever you give up for them, because they don't have. This is what I heard, but I heard Texans want 3 first-round picks. So I mean, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Bye.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So no one's gonna give that up. So if that is true, I don't think that has anything to do with Wentz. No.
I don't know.
A certain head coach wants a certain player, wants his own quarterback. It doesn't mean that any head coach is going to want any quarterback. They want their quarterback, and I think Carson Wentz fitting with the Colts. I think Frank Reich and Carson Wentz are linked to each other in a lot of ways, so it could happen.
He was the quarterback today, man. Oh my God, Philip Rivers. This is my first actual Colts game. I haven't watched a single Colts game all year. Man, oh my God, Rivers throwing the ball like makes me mad. Like I want to throw the ball for him. Like he has no arm power. The thing is in the air. By the time it's halftime, finally gets to his player. He has no arm power anymore. His arm is shot. And it's like his oh my God, his drop.
The man's like 70 years old, man. I'm
his
just proud
drop
that he
back
makes it up and down the
annoys
field.
me. Oh my God, his drop. Oh my, I don't know why his drop back looks so ugly. It's like he's like. I don't know.
He waves his head like he just got slapped in the face and he just chucks the ball. Like that's how
he like pushes it. He doesn't even throw the ball. He like pushes the ball. It's the weirdest thing ever.
There's some quarterbacks in this league that just throw the ball weird. Cam Newton is not someone that throws a pretty ball either. That dude, it looks like he's
Cam
like
Newton does not throw the ball in this game. Cam Newton barely throws the ball.
I think he had like 8 touchdowns all season. That's
bad. There was a couple
insane.
games. There was a couple games where I believe his wide receiver, I forget his name, but he was on my fantasy team. Jacoby Myers, I think his name is something like that.
Yeah.
He had more passing touchdowns than Cam Newton in Foxborough or whatever they call. I hate that stadium. So. But before I get you out of here, infamous.
Before I head out of here, I want to talk about Ryan Tannehill right now. So Ryan Tannehill, he gets a lot of he gets crucified. Well, not crucified, but he's very underappreciated by the media because the man has 33 touchdowns, which I think that's how much Wentz had in 2017, and he had 7 interceptions, which is what Wentz had, and he had more yards. And again, there's always the eye test. Like obviously, we all know Wentz is obviously better than Ryan Tannehill through the eye test, right? But you see how his numbers look a lot better because he does not pass the ball 80 times a game because he has Derrick Henry setting up the passing touchdowns for him. He's having it's all about setting up plays. They ran the ball. We had a 3-headed dragon that year with Corey Clement, JJ, and Garrett Blunt. We ran the ball to set up other plays. That's why we ran RPOs this year. I mean, I'm not gonna say we didn't run them enough. We did run them. They were nowhere near as effective. We ran plays like they look similar to 2017. Right. They weren't effective because a lot of our plays and RPOs and different stuff like that relied on selling the run. You can't win games without running the ball. You can win 1 or 2, but you can't win multiple games and go into the postseason and do something while running the ball. You have to run the ball. So my whole thing is the pass attempts with Doug. I feel like Doug wants to be out. I feel like Doug wanted this team to be a Chiefs team where like you have full speed, like you don't really have a big receiver. You just have like I don't know who's the tallest receiver. Sammy Watkins, I don't know how tall he is. He's like 6 foot, right? Something like that. So like they don't have a big go get it Jamar Chase or go get it Alshon Jeffrey when he was in his prime, whatever you want to call it. They don't have a big guy that's gonna other than Travis Kelce, obviously. But I'm talking about receiver wise, they just have speed. They don't have the greatest route runners. They just have someone who's going to burn you over top. And I feel like when we drafted Jalen Reagor, that's what we expected him to be when we drafted players like that. So I feel like
Hightower was getting open, dude. We just stopped doing it.
We definitely were getting open. But I'm not going to lie to you. When you have an offensive line as bad as our offensive line was, you can't do it. Like when you watch the Dolphins game, and I was texting Tone, and I was low-key texting Joe too during pretty much the whole game. When you watch Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy when they're calling the game, when Patrick Mahomes had his picks and was getting a sack like 30 yards behind the line of scrimmage, it was because they were throwing the ball deep. So then they started running the ball. They started running jet sweeps to Tyreek Hill. So then the defense now they have to adjust. They have to come down lower to the box. As soon as they come down lower to the box, they kind of like max protected the running back, the tight end, and they just threw it down deep to Tyreek Hill as a touchdown. So that's again, and I keep saying that's the difference between why they're Super Bowl contenders and why we're not. They know if we start running the ball with Tyreek Hill, they're gonna have to come down. As soon as they come down, we're gonna shoot them over the top. And I'm not no offensive coordinator. It's just common sense.
Right.
Nah,
so that's. I mean, I'm doing Madden. Can't be that hard.
I'm doing Madden.
Big facts. Hey, infamous man. I'm gonna get some more people in here, bro. But I appreciate you sliding through as always.
Always.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Infamous, bro. Before you get the next person on, I do have to head out. This was like perfect timing, so I wouldn't cut someone off and be like, "All right, peace."
Get out of my stream. Get out of my stream.
But no, it was a pleasure meeting you, Joey. Definitely try to see you again and everything like that. But guys, come in here and light them up and just vent. Do it up.
Thanks, man.
Later,
man.
All right, so we got a couple more people in here, but we still got about 40 people in here. So if you are trying to, join the stream, talk it up, the link is in the link is in the chat. So be sure to join on up. Next, we got you've seen him in every single stream, man. This guy is a poster child for the stream. Shout out to my guy Braden. What's up, brother?
I didn't get to see the Colts game because I was at the beach, but I think going into the draft, right? Let's talk about draft first. I have us taking Micah Parsons with the first round pick. I think he's good. I think he will be good if we use him right. And then in the second round, I have us taking Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota. I think he's fast, good receiver, and I think he can develop. I think he'll still be around when we have a chance to pick him again. And yeah, and I think this team is a team like Infamous said, trying to be like the Chiefs. They're trying to be small, fast team. We do have those guys like Jalen Rieger, and like John Hightower, but we don't put John Hightower in the game and Jalen Rieger in the game as much as we should, because I don't know why. Maybe because Doug's dumb, but I don't know why. But
So how are you feeling about all these coaches getting fired, about Jim Schwartz leaving and everything? Do you think that was a smart decision?
Yeah. I think it was a pretty smart decision to
You're
have.
tired of Jim Schwartz? You're done with him?
Yeah.
There you
37
go.
points, done. You should be out of here if you put 37 points on the trash Cowboys team. Out of here.
I honestly, I didn't know how to feel like if Jim Schwartz was going to leave or not, even when it was going to happen. I didn't know, like.
I didn't think he was going to leave. I thought it would be Doug first and Jim. Before Jim.
Maybe.
You know, it's funny. I was talking to a couple of my buddies, and I was like, all year I've been bashing Jim Schwartz. I know you've seen the channel, you've seen the videos.
Mm-hmm.
All year I've been telling, we need to fire Schwartz. We need to fire Schwartz. And then right as he dropped his little, letter or whatever you want to call it, saying that he was actually retiring, I just kind of messaged everybody, and I was like, maybe we went a little bit too hard on Jim. I don't, this is
that's how we always feel. That's how it always. It always happens like that.
This is weird, and it's it's the real thing that it's like, what are you gonna do now? Who are you gonna get?
Like, who will be your defensive coordinator?
Yeah, there's so many different names, but it's like, who's gonna really want to take on this task? This is a task. This is a tall task.
This
take
is
this
a
defense.
big task.
Who's going to give this defense actual talent to work with? That's where it's going to come in.
Will they have a voice? Like can they actually get talent?
Our offense at least has young talent that we can develop. Our defense does not have that. We have Darius. Our youngest player on our defense is like Ronnie McLeod, and it's like
yeah, he's like 30.
No, like Jalen Moses, and he's like
everybody's
23.
old at
So,
this
like,
point.
And like you said, they're not even.
Yeah.
It's not even like you're a 27-year-old. Like if you look at Patrick Robinson, I don't know why we gave him up after that 1 year. I feel like that's somebody that worked well in our system.
Yeah.
You keep that going. You know what I'm saying? I think it was more so on him personally. He wanted to go back to New Orleans.
And let's go back to Jordan Howard trade. If you're gonna make that trade, actually use him. Like, if you're gonna make that trade, you have to actually use him. Because if you see, they did not use him at all. They did just not use him.
Yeah, the Green Bay game was the only time they really used him, and then
Yeah.
I feel like they only used him because it worked out last year when we used him against Green Bay.
Yeah.
Also, why did we use that? Let's go back to like week 3, week 4. I don't know whatever week it was against the Ravens, right? We made a comeback down like 28-30. It's like a minute 15 left. Why do you do RPO there? Why?
This whole year, you can go. I want to like do I'm gonna get a bunch of clips together.
You should do
and just do like a top 10 worst Doug
Yeah.
moments of the year, because I really feel like it's got to go viral, because it's a movie. It really is a movie this
Yeah,
year.
and this team, that's the moment that really sticks out, because we could have probably won that game if we got that 2-point conversion.
Yeah, we're a couple of fourth down decisions away
if-
from having a couple
Yeah,
more
if
wins.
I was doing that, I'd run like some type of in route, quick slant, or curl, and try getting it out fast and quick for a touchdown. That for like 2-point conversion. And that Bengals game, we that Bengals game was unacceptable. Like Dog suddenly kicked a field goal, get a flag on like Matt Pryor or something, and then it's like, and then we have to punt it, right? Wasn't it like after the flag, like only like a 58-yarder?
Yeah, we were close. If we would have went for it after the false start, I think it was like 60-61.
We would have probably missed it, but
at least we would have tried. That's
Bro,
my whole.
do you realize right now? Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
It's fine. And we could have won that game. He would have probably missed it, but we could have actually had a chance to win that game. Our team this year could be like an 8-win team of all the opportunities we missed.
Yeah. No,
Like we could have won the Browns game, but that pick six hurt us so bad.
Do you realize like we can't even release Jake Elliott? Like it's going to be like 2.3 million in dead cap. Like that's just
yeah.
And that's
they tried out 2 kickers this year too. Didn't make it. I don't know. Favoritism, bro. Super Bowl favoritism. That's all it's been.
That's the thing. I feel like I can kick better than Jake Elliott right now, and my knees are bum right now.
I'm
I am
already
old
a better
and I have
kicker
bum
than
knees.
Jake Elliott.
There's no way that he should be on
20-yard
this
field
team.
goal. I can probably kick like a 30.
Yeah, I mean we could even go back. Nathan Gary made it what 8 weeks before. It felt like 8 years. I was gonna say 8 years. He made it like 8 weeks before injury took him off, and then out of nowhere, Alex Singleton actually is competent. Wow, like look at TJ Edwards actually can play.
Alex Singleton pick six. I believed in him that moment.
The 49ers game.
So let me ask you one last question, Braden, before we get some more people in here. I want your perspective on this because you're a young Eagles fan. You're the future of our Eagles team, right? I want to know what your feelings were when you saw us tank against the Giants. Do you think it was bad for the game, or
do you mean
you
against
understood?
the football team?
Say that again.
Do you mean against the football team?
Yeah. I'm sorry. We tanked against the Giants. I meant we did it to spite them, I guess.
So I felt like I think we should have tanked. But put Nate Sudfeld in the game at the beginning of the game. Like, what are you doing? And I think that was a good move. I really do. But what were we doing? Putting Jalen Hurts to start that game, and then midway either play Jalen Hurts through, which would be a dumb idea. Could we give the Giants fans some hope that they're in the playoffs, or start Nate Sudfeld the whole game? And have our team probably score like 0 points.
I respect it. Yeah, it kind of sucked having to, bite your fingernails on the last game, hoping you lose.
That fumble, he snapped it and it went right through his hands. Like, even Jake Elliott could make that catch. Like, come on.
I don't know if I trust even Jake Elliott with a simple catch, man. It's been a rough year for him. But hey, Braden, man, I appreciate you coming on here, always supporting, bro. You know you're the number one guy on here, man. You be killing it.
Yeah, might come back on with my mock draft. So
okay,
I might just
all
come
right.
back
If we
on
here, we ready to
30,
rock.
40
then.
minutes with my mock draft.
Okay, all right. You let me know when you got that ready.
Okay.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
It's Conan, man.
Peace.
All right. Shout out to Philly Fresh in the building. Yo, that what's good, my guy. So this next person, I don't know who it is. Hopefully it's nothing crazy. So the name says Mir. We're gonna take this shot, man. Hopefully it's just a normal.
Hello,
what's good? All right, nothing crazy. I was nervous to hear what what might have transpired. But what's good, man? Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
How you feeling, man? How's this season got you feeling?
You really want to be honest with you? I knew this was coming from the rip. I just felt it. Like I knew it and I didn't. It started when it started with the draft. It started when Brooks got injured. It started with Andre got injured. It just started like chaos. And what Kelsey said in his interview, it was just not one person. It was mostly everybody, the whole team. Who had a good year this year on his team? Really nobody. except for Graham. That's it, in my opinion. And I'm happy like he going to the Pro Bowl. But it's like if you want to remake this team, you have to get the right coaches first. Then like get players. Like we need a new defensive coordinator. We need an offensive coordinator. And Jeffrey Lurie just got to stop being scared for it. He just put his foot down and get get Doug Peterson offensive coordinator because there's nothing wrong with having an offensive coordinator if you're a head coach. If you was that type of head coach, they're not called plays and execute. That's a different story. He just don't know how to execute. He do like that Cowboys game. It started with Deshaun Jackson. That was a perfect dom. But what did he do? He take him out the game for no apparent reason. And it's like I started with the draft. Nothing wrong with Rager. He just don't get no separation. And he got like a bad receiving coach. They get no separation at all. And look at Jefferson. He went to the Vikings. He having a good year. He passed 1,000 yards. And you take him like that
Second
was
team All Pro, I think.
Yeah, like that was and he made Pro Bowl and he a rookie. And it's like I want to touch on that Carson Wentz situation last. And it's like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do when the NFL start back around? We have to cut players. At this point, why you didn't cut Jalen Mills? He's not a good safety. I feel like he's not a good corner. When he had one good year, that was the Super Bowl run. Ever since he fell off. We let go our best safety, Malcolm Jenkins. Kavon Wallace, what you said earlier, he said he all talk, no show. He don't really do nothing.
He got a tattoo on his back he got an Eagles logo on his back.
Listen, I like Kavon
really?
Wallace.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he got a tattoo on his back. Yeah, because he was Troy Vincent's son's roommate at Clemson, and
he was Brian Duck. Listen, nothing wrong with Koalas. I'm a big Koalas fan. He all talk. He gotta what I mean, if he said Brian Dawkins was his mentor, he gotta go in this offseason and talk to him, get advice from him. He's a really good safety. He's the best safety we ever had. If we want to take up the salary cap situation, we have to cut people fast. Peters gone. Alshon Jeffrey gone. Jackson, he need to go. Our corners need to go. Avonte Maddox, I hate Avonte Maddox with all my heart. He really need to go. He's not good at safety. He's not good at corner. He get burned every single time. Look at the Seattle game last year and look at the Seattle game this year. He got burned twice in the same spot twice this year. And it's like I'm glad Jim Schwartz is retiring because he's not good at defensive coordinator. He get toast every single time. Every time when players post pictures, they coming to us. That's cat. They lying. They just want money because the NFC East make a lot of money. So, like, it's just everybody, and it's like our draft. If we want to have a successful team next year in 2021, we have to get a good offensive line. We have to start with offense. Let's start with offensive line. We need to be young everywhere. Like, let these veterans go. I'll say keep a couple veterans. I really like. Keep Carson around. Hear me out with that last. Keep Lane Johnson around. Just do him one more year. If he keep getting injured, let him go. Kelsey, he need to stay. He the best center we ever had. He getting a little old, but he need a replacement sooner or later. Peters need to go. Alshon need to go. Who else needs to go?
Everybody. I think the list of people who should stay is probably a lot shorter.
Yeah.
The list of people who need to
And
go.
there's like nothing wrong with having young. That's how they want to develop. Like Jack Driscoll, he could when Lane Johnson go, he gonna have to step up regardless. He had to get in that rhythm. What happened to let JJ go? JJ Sticker, whatever his name, he's Howie said he don't use him next year. No, he's not. He's lying once again.
And you know what kills me with these, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to talk real quick about the defense because you were saying some good things. And my thing with the defense is, yeah, all right, you're not that great. Okay, you got some things you got to work on. I understand that. But Lord, please stop doing the snake after you get a tackle on 4th and 1.
Yeah,
that you're down 40 points. Like, come on, man, just chill. Jalen Mills, chill out, bro. Every time you get one stop, after you've been burnt 15 times in the game. Like, can we all calm down a little bit and realize who we are right now? Like, get better every play.
That's our problem. We just dance around too much. If you get a set, get a set, get back up, walk away. I feel like the only defensive players we really need to keep around is Darius. He's gonna be good next year. This is worst year he ever had because of Jim Swartz. We need to keep Kavon around. We need to cut couple safeties. We need to let mostly all them other go. I know Fletcher might leave. Brooks, he gonna finesse and stay around. One person I really want to keep is Alex Singleton. He's a beast at linebacker. I don't care what nobody say. He's really good. He the only person on the team besides Brennan really got sacks this year. He sacked everybody. Everybody, and everybody seen him on primetime game he was playing the Cowboys. They seen it. Like, he's a really good linebacker. And it's like, we probably not even gonna use him.
I will say one thing. If you like anybody on this defense, with the exception of maybe some bigger names like older guys, but if you like any of these young guys, get used to them, get more love for them, because they're probably not going anywhere. We do not have the money to go and get, like we've been doing the past couple of years, going and finding a 29-year-old that's on the come up. We don't have the money for that.
No, they're finding these marquee names that used to be good and they're not good anymore, like Nickel Roby-Coleman, just another guy having all these small corners that can't cover, or they're maybe might be in a good spot, but they just can't. They get beat by height instantly. I mean, by bigger receivers. It's crazy.
And we can't tackle on this team. We can't. Nobody really can tackle except for a couple of people. On defense is Fletcher, Brandon Graham, and Alex Singleton. That's the only, in my opinion, that's the only people that really know how to tackle. Jalen Mills, he don't know how to tackle. He always trying to low bridge. It don't work. That's not good. And it's like, I want two more topics and I'm done.
I'm not taking time, bro. Vent, bro. That's what we here for, brother. Yeah, that's why I'm sitting back. I'm letting y'all talk.
My situation, I said I'm gonna keep cursing the situation last. This is my problem. Would you say, yeah, Carson Wentz, he was a coward. He didn't come in the media. He didn't want to speak to the media. He got to get out that this babyish scared to talk to the media. Like, he really needs to just really talk to them, be a man about it. And I'm saying Carson Wentz is a tough dude. You can't say he got hit 50 times, got back up. Last year, he got hit how many times with bad offensive line, get back up. He a tough dude. But his mentally is broke at this point. And please take this Nick Foles statue down, because it's really killing me. Doug didn't do nothing in that Super Bowl. When Nick Foles, you really think about it. Nick Foles, when he came, with his first game he played was the Raiders game. He was not that good.
You're breaking up a little bit, bro.
Oh, I am?
Are you hearing that, Joey, or is it just me?
Yeah, I hear him. I think it's you.
All right. I'll shut up.
Okay. Because I'm trying to get to this personal situation, but that Foles, he only good in the playoffs. He only good on his team. Anywhere he go, he just terrible. I don't know, people don't peep that. He just terrible anywhere else he go. But let's go back to this Carson situation. Carson Wentz is a good quarterback. He's not even. This year is really flunked. It's really bad. He was trying to carry the team, but he got to stop playing hero ball. Like, he's a really good quarterback, and we all know that. I can say in my opinion, I don't care now. He's top 5, top 10, top 5. He damn near, when Patrick Mahomes came to the league, he was basically Patrick Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes really came to the league. He did throws, he did everything. Carson Wentz had to get back. He could be next. He could be like the next Patrick Mahomes. I'm saying he not, but he can. He had to go in the offseason. And I seen you, Joe. You said reports how he was talking to Zach about let him stay around. And it's like, yeah, Carson, I know he do want to stay around, but Doug, Howie, and I'm surprised nobody saying them. Jeffrey Lurie, they're really the ones that really blame. But it really started with this front office situation.
See, I want to say this real quick before you move on too far from Carson and his mentality, at least. To say this about you, because like you said, I have been very vocal about saying that he's acting like a little punk right now, and I don't like that. But to your point of the whole Nick Foles statue, no, keep that up. If anything, but make it a little bit bigger. Next quarterback that comes here, I want you to look at that. Your first day is going to be a field trip, all right? Because if you look at Steelers stadium. If you look at any other great organization, they have banners everywhere. They have their own little Hall of Fame, bro. If that's really what's really bothering you,
It's
that
not
I have a problem
bothering
with that. I have a big problem with that. If you a statue is detrimental to your mind frame when you just got paid $100 million. For $100 million, you could come build a statue in my room.
You love it, and you love it.
And I would love it. I would high five
it
every time I'd walk by.
This is my problem. Nothing wrong with this statue. I feel like it's not really bothering them, but a little bit. My problem is just take that Doug Peterson part off and keep Foles with it. Because Doug didn't really do nothing. He was not even calling plays. That Philly special. Foles said that he said, let's do the Philly special. He said, yeah. And it's like, you're supposed to be a coach. You calling the plays. He's not calling the plays. You're the head coach. And it's like Doug just being a baby. And it's like, that's exactly what he deserved. I'm glad people had to hold him back. Because somebody really need to really sit him down and just really talk to him. Or if you don't he just pissing me off. But I'm gonna get back to this Carson Wentz situation and I'll be done. Carson Wentz, he's a good quarterback. He just got to come off this offseason. He need to come back one more year. If he's not playing good, let him go. And that Frank Reich situation, it's not about the coach. It's about Frank Reich because Frank Reich, he really like Carson Wentz. He really do. He worked with them. He damn near he taught him mostly everything. And it's like, if he goes to the Colts, like he gotta really come back to the rhythm. And it's like every quarterback that come here, they don't succeed real good. And it's like, keep Carson around.
There might be a good chance he gets successful somewhere else. It might actually happen. I won't be surprised.
We really want to be on anywhere Carson. If Carson do go to another team and he played the Eagles, I'm saying he would demolish this team if he was on a good team. He would demolish the Eagles. I'm an Eagles fan, but he would demolish us.
My thing with the Colts, and the only reason why I say, I know it's probably unpopular, only reason I think it's unlikely, I'll say, that he goes to the Colts, my biggest thing is if I'm the GM and Frank comes into my office and says, well, let's go pay $30 million for Carson. Don't look at last year. Don't look at, his past couple years. Don't look at his injury history. I know Deshaun Watson's out there. I know Dak might be out there. It's just a hard sell for me. I understand, the relationship between Frank and, Wentz. I don't know Frank's level of power in the Colts. You know what I'm saying? So I could be totally off base. But to me, it's a hard sell. It's a very hard sell, when there's other options out there and they are very quite possibly a quarterback away. So, I mean, it's going to be a pitch that I'm sure is going to be made.
Yeah, and I wanted to get to that Deshaun Watson discussion. It's like,
what do you think about Watson?
Yeah, Deshaun Watson. I said Carson Wentz. Keep him around. Get him come out the offseason. He really need to sit down and just really look. In my opinion, he really need to look at film and what was his mistake this year. And really look at it and just talk like a good quarterback trainer or somebody and just let him lose his weight because he's fat. He still can run, but he's fat. He's kind of a little slow. And he had to use his legs a lot this year. And he probably gonna be in pain, but he really
go ahead.
He really, really need to come back and just show what people he gonna show people wrong. And he need to come back and just tell I'm Carson, I'm here. This my team. It's not the coaches, it's my team. I'm sorry for saying that, but it's my team. I'm team captain. And it's like just last one. Just the Deshaun Watson, he really need to get out of there because Houston is not a good team for him. And it is, but ever since Hopkins left, it just been all down. And they don't have head coach. He's not good either. I'm glad they fired him. They need to fire Doug too. And
I'm Penn State. I'm a Penn State fan, so I was very happy when I saw Bill O'Brien going.
I really want Deshaun Watson to see, and I really want Carson to see. If Carson do go, a really good team for him is, my opinion, is the Minnesota Vikings. That's a really good team for him. If that was my opinion, and if Washington go, a good team for him is Bill Belichick.
Yeah, Patriots. Yeah, I mean, I know Belichick likes Wentz too, but even I don't even think the Saints might not even keep Drew Brees either. There's some speculation going around for some rumors that he might not even be around after this year. And Sean Payton was like, "Oh, we'll fix Carson Wentz. We can fix him."
He can. He can.
So I don't know with Carson, and the truth of how I kind of just go about it the past few years is that I think Carson has obviously the front office is to blame for a lot of this before I blame Carson, but I think he's just mentally scarred here. I think that since the Super Bowl, I don't know. I haven't really seen, besides the end of 19 for the straight month against the NFC East, that was against a really bad division. I don't think he's been the same since his injury. I think they have tried to work him to make him a more of a pocket quarterback, especially this year. Obviously, with him gaining weight and just looking horrible, his mobility has just been really bad. We haven't even seen it really. But at the end of the day, if the guy doesn't have enough motivation to win a Super Bowl after Nick Foles kind of stepped in there to the point where they draft a quarterback in the second round, and you don't take that as a challenge more than just you're like you look at Aaron Rodgers. They draft a quarterback, and is he gonna there's quarterbacks that have down years. I mean, Tom Brady had a down year this year. I mean, he
had a bad year too.
Everybody's all these good quarterbacks have had down years, but this guy just mechanics. I mean, it goes to everything.
Yeah, that was this really my last one. Everybody have bad years in the NFL. It's okay. It is what it is. Everybody had bad years regardless, in general, just being human. And our problem, we just kept putting things at Carson. Carson he's a chunk somewhat to blame, but he's not the full thing. Not the full picture. It's his front office, this owner, because Jeffrey Warren act like he don't want to help the team succeed. He don't want to put his foot down, talk to the coaches. And it's mostly Howie and Doug. And Carson really need to come in next year and just do everything by himself. What he did when 2019, he carried the team. He really need to just break up. He need to break this mentality. Like, he can't be scarred. He can't be weak. You're a quarterback. You have to show strength. You have to show, like, you gotta break out of this. And it's like I want Carson to succeed, but if he don't next year, he gonna have to trade. And
I think he wants out. I already think right now he wants out.
And Zach is leaving.
I think the thing with Wentz is I would love to see him do well. I have no like ill intentions towards him or anything like that. It's just it is what it is. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. All my jerseys on the front say Philadelphia Eagles. You know what I'm saying? Like, I rock with Swoop. Like, at the end of the day, if there's one person I'm not letting you trade, it's Swoop. At this point, if we need to trade Carson Wentz, then we need to trade Carson Wentz, especially if he's asking for it. That's the biggest thing for me. I would love. I don't think there's anything wrong with having two good quarterbacks.
Because once you bench a quarterback, that's it. Like, once you bench a quarterback, pretty much that relationship is hard to get back together.
And plus, mostly all our good players is really leaving. Zach is leaving. Carson went out. Fletcher might not be here next year. So all our good players is leaving, in my opinion. Our chunk of good players, but we still got more talent, Miles.
It's gonna be a very interesting offseason, man. But
and plus, we still need to draft a quarterback regardless, because they said he's not gonna be here next year. Because we can't get a free agent. So just draft a quarterback that's really not known. Just get we really don't see this guy highlights, but just draft him just in case. But yeah, nice talking to y'all.
Definitely, brother. I appreciate you coming on, man.
You too, bro. Thanks for coming in, man. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Like, it's gonna be. I already think it's done. I think from the reports that from it could have been Carson Wentz's agent, or it could have been something. Even with the first reports that he wanted out, and if I'm not going to be the backup, I'm not being the backup quarterback next year. And and then after the news I saw this morning, I mean, that was on TV, that was aired on television this morning. Yeah, I don't think he wants to be here. I think it's pretty much done. And if you're gonna go draft a quarterback, then you better draft one like 7th round. No joke. Like, I'm not wasting one. Look, if it's to a point where we have to just have Jalen Hurts and just let him play this year and just let him just do his thing, and if it works out, it works out. It doesn't, it doesn't, and that's it.
I'm okay with being bad if there's like a clear plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we see this is why we aren't good right now. This is what we're going to fix in the off season coming up. You know, if there's some type of concise plan that I'm like, okay, I could see us being better in a couple years. But right now, man, it is all downhill. Like there's nothing there's no saving grace. You know what I'm saying? There's no like, oh well, at least we have a lot of cap space, or we have, you know, a lot of draft picks. Like we gave up our 3rd round pick last year, so we don't even have that this year. Like it's, you know, realistically, the more and more you dig into it, it just gets more and more dark, I'll say.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like it comes to drafting, it comes to obviously control, like evaluating this roster, and I think it comes down to coaching, because I don't trust Doug calling plays next year. I just don't. I think they should honestly have an offensive coordinator next year that's going to handle it all on his own. No sharing plays, no sharing play calling. Just someone with a good resume to come in here, a young, innovative OC, or it doesn't have to be young and innovative, but just somebody that just has a good reputation. I don't care who it is at this point, but they can't keep rolling the way they're rolling with Doug calling the plays. I just can't. I just don't trust it. I really don't trust it at all. And I think, you know what? Maybe it'll be a good thing. Carson Wentz wants out. You get draft picks for Zach Ertz. You get draft picks for Carson. You could have a lot of draft picks at this point between this year and next year. So you never know. So it might be better for us in the long run. But obviously, quarterback, I don't want to go through the whole thing where we have to draft a quarterback again. I mean, look, when I saw Jalen Hurts play, I was really impressed. Even the Arizona game, even though he lost, I thought he played really well. I thought the poise in the pocket, and I think just body language, you notice with these two quarterbacks, just the body language. Like Carson, at least like you have Darius Slay comes out of a Seahawks game and he's like, yeah, I played horrible and I couldn't cover, DK Metcalf. I mean, at least there's some type of like, you're humble and there's something there to where I know that you're a human being and I know you make mistakes, and you will tell the media, you will tell the fans that you messed up. But at the same time, Carson Wentz and Doug, same press conferences every single week. I got to do better. I got to play better. The same quotes every week. So it's just, there's so much more. I mean, it's so early in the off season right now. I mean, obviously the football season's not even over yet. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot, but this quarterback situation has to get figured out. Like, it's got to be figured out. At least by free agency, they need to figure out what's going on. They can't let this wait too long. They need to figure out who's going to be in the building. Like Jalen Hurts, even that last game that we had, he pretty much was like, I'm going to get my teammates together and I'm going to come rolling. Like, he's ready. QB competition or no QB competition, he's ready. And hopefully we have a normal off season with rookie mini camp and 4 preseason games, not having 2 scrimmages at the link. And then you figure out like who's your starters. I mean, it's already enough that you drafted a quarterback in the 2nd round that barely got to play, like obviously early in the season when we were talking about it. And then, you draft Davion Taylor with the 3rd round pick and you don't even play him till week 10 or 11. And he stinks. He's horrible, but I can't blame him. I can't blame Davion Taylor. The guy never was trusted to go on the field. Like, they never even tried to put him on the field. I mean, you draft these guys early and then like what, you're going to go by mini camp. You're going to go by like the really short training camp that we had this year, barely grass time there. I mean, it's not an excuse, but this offseason did not help the Philadelphia Eagles at all whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Shout out to Simone. I can't talk. Excuse me. Shout out to Simone Stanley in the building. I see you, girl. Thank you for coming through. Yeah, it's rough, man, because like you said, there's, who do you trust? Who do you call? There's no Ghostbusters in this situation. Who are you going to really call to get us out of the situation? We have no money. We have no players that you have developed. There were plenty of, and you can kind of put it on the fact that this season was really weird in the sense that the NFC East was terrible and we had a chance, theoretically in the division all year. So you don't start benching people, but you had many opportunities to find out what you've had on this roster. And I feel like we didn't do it until all the other options were off the table. I mean, it literally took our water boy, to go down for us to even put Travis Fulgham in. I'm pretty sure I missed a call from Doug Peterson that week that he wanted me to start over Travis Fulgham.
Yeah,
it just seems like they don't care what they have, or they see what they have and are afraid to start him, maybe because they don't want to pay him. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sorry. We can't go through another offseason where we're down to practice squad players at the end of the year. I mean, that's just embarrassing. It's just embarrassing how it happened to the offensive side of the ball in 2019. Now it pretty much went to the defensive side of the ball. So when we had nobody, I mean, we lost everybody. And then on top of Will Parks being out of here, which made no sense either. And obviously Will Parks had a lot to say on Twitter and fighting back with Eagles players and really being hurt by, I mean, he was definitely hurt by getting released by his team. It just made Howie Roseman even look worse by that. And even talk about the one thing, I try not to get emotional towards players, but when I was at work and I saw the news on my phone that Malcolm Jenkins got released, and I was really upset. I was like not mad. I was mad upset, but I was like emotionally upset over that. And you know what? Malcolm Jenkins put a lot of Band-Aids over the secondary because they'd move him all over the place. You cover up a lot of that. Just like when our secondary gets hurt, we get exposed badly. And our secondary gets exposed so bad to the point where, I mean, Fletcher Cox goes out of the game with a stinger injury in that last game. And it's like, where's the pass rush? Like, I know we didn't have Barnett. We didn't have, and then Josh Sweat, I'm really excited about. I mean, he's one of the most exciting players, more than Barnett. I think Josh Sweat has shown he might be better than being a rotational guy at this point. The more reps he gets, the better he gets. Javon Hargrave, look, a 3-4 system nose tackle guy that came here, obviously got hurt, came back, had to get himself to 100%, then had a few good games to where you kind of saw, okay, they made him, top 6 highest paid defensive tackle in the league. And, Javon Hargrave, I'm hoping with the whole offseason. I mean, I saw some good things, but I mean, you paid this guy a lot of money and he barely showed anything. I mean, you're counting on this guy to take on those one-on-ones if Fletcher Cox gets doubled. So, and then you have Brandon Graham making $16 million. So it's just, and he kind of disappeared for 6 games. Like, you know what I mean? Like he almost had double-digit sacks. We had like 8 sacks. So he almost had like double-digit sacks and he kind of disappeared to, getting into the Pro Bowl when you can't even go. There's no Pro Bowl this year.
Seriously. That explains our whole season right there. It's like
I never want to remember this year, bro. I never, ever. Last year.
Part of me is like, I've said this in the beginning of the year. There is, maybe it's in Indianapolis. Maybe that's where it really went. But like, there has to be some type of glue on this team from 2017. Like, what was there that made this team work? Maybe it's on the player side. Maybe it's, Malcolm Jenkins or some of the players that were leaders then. But it's like, how do you fall so far from grace from 2017 to now? It's like everything, I could see if we just got to the point that we're like, hey, Doug Peterson sucks, or hey, Carson's just not that guy, or it's one thing, but it's
the whole team. It's the whole team.
It really is. From top to bottom, like from staff to to players. It's like, what went wrong? Where did our happy days, if you want to say, or our culture, our ice cream? Nobody's eating ice cream no more. I just don't know what's going on.
I think it's a totally different season. Not even having fans in the stadium, because I'm telling you, if there were fans in the stadium, violence would be happening in Philadelphia right now. At those games, there'd be a lot of violence. There'd be things thrown on the field. Somebody would get hurt. I'm telling you, I think changes would have happened if there were fans at the stadium. I'm telling you right now, would have happened. Yeah. I mean, I was going to go to a game. I was going to go to a game this past year, and I said, you know what? I said, why? So why am I going to drive almost 3 hours? Go to a game, pay like a ransom to go watch this team play, and to look at that and to watch them play like this, it's just embarrassing. I mean, trust me, I go to about 5 or 6 games a year, and I enjoy it. I love it. But this year, just everything together as a whole, crappy year, and I'm hoping for some changes. And there's just, we could talk about this for hours. I mean, there's so much speculation, and we don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to find out sooner or later what's going to happen with this roster. I mean, we're going to find out. The chips haven't fallen yet, but it's going to happen soon.
All right, so we got a couple more people in here. We're going to get these last couple people in here, and then, Joe, we're probably going to call it a night and maybe enjoy some football ourselves. You know what I'm saying? But,
Washington playing right now.
If you want to call that football, I guess. If you want to call that football. They're better than us right now. But anyways, no more depression talk. No more depression.
Yeah.
Shout out to Unforgiven being patient in the back room. I appreciate you, man. What's going on, brother? I think you're muted.
What's going on, bro?
There we go. How's it going, man?
Not much.
How are you feeling, man? How's the season got you?
To be honest, we really need an OC And my recommendation would be Major Applewhite from Texas. I don't know if you saw my video in Bird Game Revolution about the YouTube video that I posted.
I did not see any of that yet.
Major Applewhite is a former Texas quarterback and also an OC for Texas, as you see. Got my new mask.
There you go.
The thing about him, if players are screwing up, he will tell you. He's straightforward, and in my honest opinion, that's what we need. We need an OC that's going to develop our players the correct way. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with our coaching. I think if we're not going to get people that are going to develop, I don't even think it's teaching the schemes are important and all that stuff, but we need to get back to developing players. Like we call ourselves a quarterback factory. It would be nice to be a competent player factory. It would be nice to have backups that come in and understand how the defense works. I feel like if you look at a lot of these players defensively or even offensively, nobody's gotten better. I mean, J-Jaw is the same exact things as he was, year one. If you look at a lot of these players outside of the offensive line, I think the offensive line is he's the only coach, Stoutland, that actually develops players right now. You could say Phipp used to, but even Phipp, I feel like the special teams is kind of getting questionable. So I agree. I feel like our coaching is our biggest issue right now and our biggest, area of need.
And see, I don't know if you guys know who Major Applewhite is in the chat, guys. As you know, I'm from Texas, but I'm not a Cowgirl fan. Fuck the Cowgirls. I will say that proud. Major Applewhite was a quarterback under Mac Brown. Who came back after college and coached the offense. I feel that if we bring him in, I believe our quarterbacks and our whole entire offense will change. But Doug has to give up the play calling.
I agree.
His play calling is literally vanilla. Like, every single play every single game, I knew every single play before it was even called. The formations, defense is read it literally right out the gate. Another thing that I think, instead of drafting a quarterback or wide receivers, we need to focus on our O-line. Our O-line has been trash all season.
I will say, just to kind of go off of what you're saying, I feel like our O-line is probably our strongest asset right now, just because we have a lot. I mean, we have been bad. Don't get me wrong. Numbers wise, we have been very bad, but we also have went through literally like 13 different offensive line. 14. Excuse me. Thank you. So almost we should just say 14 and a half since the Bengals half game. I like throwing halves in here now.
Yeah, we can do that.
But so we went through 14 different. And if you look at people like Jordan Mailata, I think is a bright spot right now. If you look at not Matt Pryor, but Jack Driscoll, he's a bright spot right now. Nate Herbig, he's a bright spot right now. If you look at a couple of these guys, it looks like they're developing, and that's why I love Stoutland. Stoutland is one of our most consistent coaches. So, I mean, I agree that we need to keep on building our offensive line, but I don't think it's a top 6 need right now. That's my opinion.
Well, the reason why I'm saying that is when Lane and Kelsey retires, who's gonna fill their spot?
Facts.
We need to focus on that first before going to any other position, because when our veterans retire, we're not going to have anybody to fill their spots.
Yeah, Samala might be the choice, obviously, for that spot. I think Samala would actually be the choice than moving Herbig to the left guard. So that was the point, because Herbig could play both spots perfectly.
Yeah, which I wouldn't be mad at. I wouldn't mind seeing Herbig. I don't know why we took Jordan Mailata out when JP got back. Like, JP was a cardboard, cutout. I don't want to say
Grandpa
a lot.
Moses. He's Grandpa Moses, bro. That's what I call him because the guy can't stand up at all.
Seriously, like that man, that was probably the biggest disappointment of this year, and that's saying something because it's like to see it. I'll forget about this year as a JP fan. I will forget about this year when you go back to his career and we're talking about him going into the Hall of Fame and everything. This year, I'm gonna wipe it away because this was just bad. If you can put robbery on your Hall of Fame resume, then kudos to him because he did it. But this was just a bad year all around. So let me ask you this question before we get these last two people on here. Going forward, what are some things you want to see happen this offseason? Like two or three things that you want to see happen this offseason that can turn this team around next year.
First of all, first things first. As I said, Doug give up play calling. Second of all, that's just the only thing that I can think of right now.
Oh, come on now. Come on now.
There's a lot of things.
What's the top guy the top thing that really needs to happen? Like the top.
Yeah, I'm throwing you a
The top
softball.
thing,
Everybody,
the top thing that I can think about is Doug giving up the play call.
oh, I'm gonna throw the shirts up real quick. Just don't forget, guys. We do have Fire Howie merchandise right now. So I'm gonna ask you again. What are some of the things that you want to see happen this offseason? My God.
Get rid of Howie, or
there we go.
Either that or take away his drafting abilities.
Definitely. I agree. No, I agree. Obviously, I just literally led you to that water. But man, I agree. But I agree with you on Doug too, man. Doug has to get somebody in here that he trusts. That if he's gonna stay here, obviously, it's got to be somebody that he can trust and that can trust him. I think that's a big thing too, because we make a lot about how Doug's personality is, and as far as him not really wanting to give up play calling or whatever it is. Let's not forget that a lot of these assistant coaches that come in here aren't his choices. Because, he thought that he was going to have a whole different coaching staff coming into this year. Obviously, that changed within a day, within a press conference, everything changed for him. So, I don't know. I need somebody that's going to work with Doug because I feel like Doug is a guy that needs to develop too. And I think we forgot that after 2017 because we got that Super Bowl. Things kind of stopped. We have to keep on moving forward. In 2017, we had a lot of great coaches that taught him how to be a coach. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's Frank Reich, whether it's our old quarterback coach, and I'm forgetting his name. Carson Welsh, was it? Oh, I can't remember his name, but we had a couple of different players that are coaches that were head coaches, and they taught Doug. They brought him along. You know what I'm saying? So I think we need to get back to that as well. A lot of people say, and me included, that we need to just develop these, players, but I think it goes beyond just the players. Everybody needs to get a little bit better. And this is who we're going to war with, man. We got to strap up,
Also, another thing, we can't be letting we got to have Lurie take control over this team. It's his team. He's the owner. He needs to put his foot down. Plain and simple. If he's gonna be the owner, he needs to put his foot down and say, "No, Doug, I'm gonna hire you some NOC, and they're gonna call the plays, not you."
Yeah, I think that's going to happen this year. I think it's really going to happen this year. Even if Doug says, "Hey, I want to hire this person," it's going to have to go through Lurie regardless. I really hope he doesn't let Doug just hire whoever he wants. He's already done it a couple times, and he's got to stop doing it. So,
what do you guys think about bringing in Applewhite?
I would have to look him up, to be honest. 100% honest. I don't want to talk on. I trust you. So you actually started our Discord chat.
Yes,
so
I did.
Shout out to you. The link's in the description for the Discord chat. So you're gonna have to send me that link so I can check them out. So I can maybe I'll do a video on them or something.
Okay.
Definitely. But hey, bro, I'm gonna get you out of here. We're gonna get these last two people in here. I appreciate you coming through, man.
Hey, not a problem.
Yes, sir. God bless, bro.
Thanks, bro.
Later.
So yeah, he actually started us a Discord chat. I have no idea how to use Discord.
Dude, I
Discord,
Schmisscord. What is that? I have no idea.
That people put me onto, there's so many different like social media things. All right, so just to say, we do have Lindy End Zone next, and then we're gonna do Lenny D last. So just so you two know, you guys are coming up. That's gonna be the last two we're gonna do, and then we're gonna call it a night. But I appreciate everybody in
Oh,
here.
by the way,
30.
the Washington football team is losing 3-0.
Uh-oh. So starts the blowout. So starts the blowout. I'm loving it. All right, we caught you. Lindy's over here in a whole nother. He was like, oh, snap. What's good, brother?
No, it's just passing the time a little bit, chilling
What's
on
good,
PS4.
brother? How you doing, man?
What's going on? Good to see you, Joey Shakes. How you
Good,
doing?
man. Good, man. Chilling, man. Just getting ready.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we try to chill while we're talking about this off season. You know, Castro already had the Fire Howie shirt up. That was great.
Go up one more time
that was hilarious. That was great. No, man. I can kind of piggyback on what Mir was talking about previously on how he felt that this was from the get-go. I mean, let's think about it for a second. We go into 2020 with really kind of almost a not necessarily an unorthodox way of wanting all these offensive assistants in, as far as from a play calling perspective goes. So you try out something different, knowing that your training camp and your preseason, everything else is going to be compromised due to COVID. So you're trying to implement a new system there while bringing in rookies from the draft, and then it's like something like the more you talk about it, and as everybody else is listening, the worse it sounds and the worse it gets. And leave it to the Eagles to not know how to tank a season in the last game. I mean, man, it's ridiculous, dude.
It hurts. It hurts enough. Be like going into a Sunday being like, I'm ready for my team to lose. But it's even worse when you're sitting there actively being like, what are you doing? Lose the game. Like, we're literally looking at them like, why are you doing this?
As soon as they showed the Giants players tweeting out Flagels fly, when they showed that on the screen, right after that moment, looks like Nate Sudfeld's going on the field.
Exactly.
I wish we could have told them, be careful what you wish for. I wish we could have told them. But
for 6-10, like you can't rely. Like I made a video about it. Like you can't rely on a rival to. Like you're 6-10 at the end of the day. You can't put yourself in that position. Like if that was us, I'd be like, of course it's going to happen like this. But it is what it is. Yeah.
But you had a job to do. You didn't do it, so it magically became our responsibility. But oh my God.
Giants fans they're a special breed for that. They really are, because I'm sorry, man. If it was the Cowboys, I hate the Cowboys and I hate Cowboys fans, but I'll give them this much. If they knew it came down to us winning, they would have just counted it out. They would have just been like, whatever, it's over. But like Giants fans watch football every now and then. Nobody is tanking so you don't go to the play. I guarantee you it feels much better knowing that the Cowboys aren't in the playoffs. I could care less if the Giants made the playoffs, to be honest. Like between the Giants and the Washington, football team, I feel like they actually needed these draft picks, if we're being 100% honest. While we do too, a draft pick is always a draft pick and it's always important. You can make the argument that this is just the off season for the Cowboys and the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? Like the Giants and the Washington football team came into this year, on a rebuild. This is, they weren't supposed to be fighting for the first place. So Giants fans, watch a little bit of football. It's a very fun sport. You'll learn some things, but just had to put that out there. But keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, I think whether we made the playoffs or not, we would still be in a similar situation. I think, however, at the same time, just like the previous years, when we made the playoffs, it kind of blanketed and prolonged some issues within from a coaching staff perspective or an organizational perspective that ended up not getting fixed, because as we know, winning cures all. and we used that in the wrong sense of the definition to kind of let things continue when they should be a higher priority. it's going to be really interesting this offseason to see where we move forward as far as seeing that we lose our linebackers coach. It is speculated that it's more on a means of retirement instead of just him being let go, because the man's 66 years old. So I mean, I could see that a legitimate possibility of retirement, but thank God 2 of the offensive assistants are gone. Rich Gangarello, Martin Morderwig. It's a good thing that they're out of here. But if I remember towards the beginning of the season, we seen some pretty good production offensively in the 2-minute drill. And who was in charge of the 2-minute drill? It was Scangarello. So I don't know. I don't know what happened to where nothing was built upon how he was helped manage the play calls with Doug Peterson. I don't know where that went. But, at the end of the day, it didn't work. We move on. We go back to a traditional direction with the offensive coordinator. Hopefully we get somebody in that just, that would not mind the situation that we're in right now in the first place. And we got to hope that it's a guy that Doug Peterson wants to work with that's not going to mind his input, from that perspective of play calling. As we know, it could have been that young mind from USC. His name's not on my mind at the moment, but if we remember the guy from USC wanted to be the offensive coordinator, but because Doug did not want to relinquish play calling, kind of didn't want to take it. So for me, I don't know. I mean, he could still be interested for all we know. But as far as from a standpoint of maybe experience that could help with Doug's comfortability as far as the coaching staff goes, a guy like Jim Caldwell would be nice as offensive coordinator, I think. He's worked with good quarterbacks before. I mean, he's had Matthew Stafford for quite some time, and he's no slouch of a quarterback himself. It's just that he plays for the Detroit Lions, so it is what it is. But a guy like Jim Caldwell would be nice for offensive coordinator to me. Defensive coordinator, history repeats itself with this organization sometimes, unfortunately, due to circumstances of the Eagles liking to promote and interview from within. So I think 2 candidates that they're going to go in the direction of as far as interviews inside the organization would probably be Matt Burke and Marquand Manuel. But I guess we can hope that they don't work out so we can get some different minds in here. But, like I said, history repeats itself, and there's a really good chance that we're going to either see Matt Burke being promoted to defensive coordinator or Marquand Manuel getting a chance. I'm just throwing it out there. There's a chance of it happening.
Bro, I said the same thing earlier, and I said Press Taylor could probably be our OC. I said the same thing.
I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't. I'd be really angry. My camera would be in broken pieces on the ground, but
oh god,
it's funny because I see a lot of Eagles fans be like, and I say Eagles fans like I'm not one. I don't know why I do that, but I see a lot of people say that, Jim Schwartz was the best defensive coordinator we've had since Jimmy Johnson. True, totally true. But to that point, we also had an offensive line coach as our defensive coordinator for a period of time. So, I mean, we haven't made any good decisions. That doesn't say much about Jim Schwartz. So I agree with you 100%. We have to get some new minds in here. Some fresh ways.
It's hard when we talk about Jim Schwartz because there's too many conflicting factors as to what goes in between him being a good and a bad defensive coordinator. A lot of times when we think he's a bad defensive coordinator is obviously he likes to play a lot of soft coverage with his corners, with whatever talent we have at cornerback. But a lot of it is also predicated on how efficient the offense is. Time of possession and an offense being able to stay on the field, that helps the defense stay fresh. And then, they can stay within a rhythm, they can stay within a system. So, when the offense is consistently going 3 and out and 3 and out and 3 and out, not sustaining drives, you're just putting your defense out there. So it's just adding tension to the coordinator as to, well, man, I mean, these guys still haven't gotten a breather yet. So we just have to keep pushing them out there. And when you have a lack of talent at certain positions, it's just continues to be a domino effect. I think, and this is going to be. I think defensively, it's going to be. I think for us in the offseason, it's going to be tougher defensively rather than offensively because I know what the situation is with the quarterback at this moment, but I really want to see what we do on defense. We still don't have a capable outside corner to pair with Slay. I do like what Michael Chiquette brings to the table. I just think he was put in the wrong place at the wrong time with difficult assignments due to injury. Kevon Seymour seems interesting enough.
No, man, but no, we're not doing that. Seymour can go back to his detailing job.
Yeah, he could work at Trading Values Inc., whatever he came from.
Yeah, he could go back to detailing cars, man. He shouldn't be on this team.
Well, unfortunately, he's back because
I love you, though, Lindy. I love you, man.
I'm trying to be optimistic here.
I respect that.
But obviously he's going to be back. Whether we want to take that positively or negatively, that's up to y'all. But they gave him a futures reserve contract for whatever. Elijah Holyfield got one, even though we didn't see him. I don't think we've seen him at all. No. So that's just confusing to me. I want to see that man on the field. Our running back depth at this point is putrid. I don't know what Jason Huntley brings to the table. Boston Scott has been up and down. Miles Sanders he's piling up the injuries. So, and that's a scary part. I mean, we're talking about Miles Sanders, who, he's a great running back, but he's been nicked up quite a few times already, and he averages only 14 carries a game. So I mean, when you're talking about a guy who doesn't like to run the football, and you have a depth issue at running back, our wide receivers are still a question mark.
Let me ask you this question. So you're saying that we need a lot of depth, obviously. So yeah, let's bring that to our draft now. Are you pro? Are you for or are you against trading back if something was to come up?
Well, I don't think the draft is until April, I want to say. I think the biggest factor of what we do in the draft is going to be what our quarterback situation is. I think that's going to be the ultimate factor on what we do with Jalen Hurts or Carson Wentz. I mean, I don't want people are saying Jalen Hurts is not the answer, and I'm okay with them thinking so, but you got to look at when he was brought in. It's only like a 4-game sample size. He's facing roughly the toughest remaining schedule in the NFL, close to it. So whether we keep Carson or whether we keep Jalen Hurts, I want to see the coaching staff try to bring them both up as if it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Like if you're going to try and fix Carson, do the same thing for Jalen Hurts. You're giving them a traditional setup again with an offensive coordinator. There's no offensive minds there. Like Joey said in the beginning, hopefully we can see a normal off season. But yeah, as far as the draft goes, I think it's going to ultimately be dependent on who's the quarterback of the football team. But I wouldn't be opposed to trading back. I would not be opposed to it.
Yeah, it has to be something that's gonna help us, man. Because I mean, we have a lot of areas to fill. We do have a lot of areas to fill. We do need depth. We do need a lot of good players, but at that same time, it's not a guarantee that we do get those players with those picks. Knowing this team.
But it's not like we don't. It's not like we don't have pieces to build around right now.
Definitely.
Yeah. Let's not get that twisted. I mean, we got. we got Alex Singleton. I hope he's a start. I hope he's a starting linebacker next year. I think he proved, based on his skill set, I think he proved that he can lock that position down. Him and TJ Edwards are a decent combo. They're a decent duo together. And I think one of the good things as them being in tandem is they both have similar issues that are easily fixable. They're both great on run defense, but they're not good in coverage. And that's something, having similar issues, that's something easy to fix. Just get an outside corner to pair with Slay. Avonte Maddox is a tricky one for me. It sucks that he was more productive as a safety than he was a corner. When we had him in 2018, he was playing a lot of snaps at safety, and he was pretty decent back there. So that's a little tricky to me. Roby Coleman's not coming back. I know that, definitely. Nathan Gary can, the White Snake, he can go on vacation with Jim Shorts or whatever he wants to do, one of Schwartz's guys. Marcus Epps should have went along with him. But, yeah, it's a shame, man. But I know you got one caller remaining, and you guys have been on this stream for almost 2.5 hours, so I'm gonna hop off of here.
Yes, sir.
Let you guys finish this up.
Yeah, I appreciate you always coming on, man. Everybody in the chat, man, make sure to go check out my boy Lindy Enzo, man. He's a content creator for the Eagles as well, man. So big support, big shout out to you, my guy. You be killing it.
Yeah, appreciate it, you guys. You guys keep doing what you do.
Yes, sir. Man, God bless, man. Have a good night.
Yeah,
take care.
Thanks, man.
So before we do bring Lenny D on, my guy Lenny D, there was a question: where can you get those fire Howie Roseman shirts? I made a very easy link for it. It is teespring.com/QB Factory.
Copy and paste right now.
QB Factory. There we go.
I'm definitely gonna buy one.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's one of those things that everybody needs. It's the only thing we can all agree on at this point. So all right, so drum roll, please. We're gonna get this last guy on. My guy Lenny D. I appreciate you being so patient, my man. How's it going, brother?
Good, and you, bro?
I can't complain. Y'all been amazing tonight. So how are you feeling, bro? I haven't talked to you in a while, man. Talk to me, man.
Man, it's just I made I did a live stream and said, it starts with Jeffrey Lurie have to remodel the Eagles because he tried to get a hold of it a little too late. Like the season's pretty much over with when he finally tried to start making decisions. And by the time he got it, got the control over it, we was about to go home already. So at this point, we got to get rid of some of these old players like Alshon got to go. I don't want to see Corey Clement no more. I don't want to see see the thing about Djax is tricky because when he's out there on the field, he's very productive, but he don't stay out there on the field. You know what I'm saying? So maybe Djax can go. I don't want to see Jason Peters come back. I don't want to see Vinny Curry come back. Nathan Gary can go. Like, I just want to see some of these players gone, because we need to start getting younger. We can't. If Carson Wentz is the quarterback of the future, or our franchise quarterback, if he stays next season or the season after, we can't keep getting old guys. We're gonna waste his prime, staying with these old guys, and that can't keep happening because, like, I look at Alshon. Somehow Alshon can play with any other quarterback except Carson Wentz. And when they did that with Russell Wilson, like the Legion of Boom talking bad about him, or some players didn't want to play for him, they got him up out of there. They said, Russ, our guy, but you got to go if you don't feel like you want to play for Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, me personally, I've said this a couple times. I really do feel like best case scenario for Eagles is that they fight for their jobs. Because, what's really bad about having two quarterbacks that are really good? You know what I'm saying? If Jalen Hurts is really good, if Carson is still really good, I don't see the bad in that. But it takes a certain mentality. I think Joey said it earlier. It takes a certain mentality to really, do that, especially in Philly, because we're going to let you know if you have a bad day at practice. We're definitely going to let you know where you are on that totem pole. So, it is what it is, man.
And that's why I say, like, when it comes to – are you about to say something, Joey?
No, go ahead.
No. Oh, that's why I say, like, we got to get Howie off of like drafting because we lack right now talent. And what I mean by right now, like you see what DK Metcalf is doing right now for the Seahawks. You see what somebody like Justin Jefferson doing right now for the Vikings. Chase Claypool right now for the Steelers. You know what I'm saying? We don't have right now talent. We try to get, projects like J.J. Arthur-Whiteside. Some people don't remember Darnell Pumphrey. You know what I'm saying? Like we draft projects and we don't need that. We need players that's gonna help like right now. And we don't draft them.
Yeah, it's always trying to, I don't even want to say projects. I feel like we see someone on our team, right? So we saw Alshon, what he did for us in 2017. Then we go see JJ in the draft, and we're like, that kind of looks like him, like that. That might be him. We see Donald Pumphrey, and we see what Darren
Speaking, bro.
Yeah, it's like we just want to match up everybody. We're playing a game of match, and it's just like that's not how you play football. We're not changing with the NFL. We're just kind of watching the NFL change in front of us.
Yeah, and what you say?
I was gonna say, let me ask y'all a question because this is something I feel like we look at it and there's not much we can do as individuals, but what do you guys feel about the injury issue? I mean, this is a serious thing. It's not like it's just one or two people. I think Joey said it earlier. It's not just one or two people. Or we looked at 2017 and that was nothing. So it's like, what do you attribute to it? What can we do to fix this? Like, is there anything we can do to fix this? So both of you, I just kind of want to know what your thoughts are on that.
It's going to be like the fourth time. It's going to be if they do it this year, it's going to be the fourth time they actually put somebody in at the medical examiner. They already had to hire two guys last year. They hired another one or two guys the year before. It's going to be the fourth time if they do it this year. And I think this really exploits our roster. The more injuries we have, I think it really exploits how bad this roster is from top to bottom. And like I said earlier, the past couple of years, you have to rely on practice squad players. Like we are down to nobody at the end of the year to get into the playoffs. I mean, it's ridiculous at this point, but there's really nothing we can even do. Like guys get hurt. It's part of the game. But when you see guys like you lose like four guys in 2 plays, it's just like, it's just ridiculous at this point. So I don't know, like with Chip Kelly, we never even had to worry about injuries whatsoever. So I don't know if it's just how these guys recuperate after workouts. Is it whatever they're taking? Is it supplements? Is it obviously where they're getting checked on what they're taking? But I mean, something's got to change with that because if we make it through training camp with no injuries, it's a blessing. But every time you see, here we go, one guy gets hurt, it's a disease.
Domino.
It's a domino effect.
Like Ryan said, it's got to be the water.
and I don't know if y'all noticed, like I'm not even from Philly. I'm from Dallas. I'm from Dallas, and I'm an Eagles fan. And every time I see somebody go down, I'll be like, "What is in Philly's water? Like what is happening?" I be asking that question. I'll be like, when I watch a game, I see people just steady dropping. I'm like, what is they giving them to drink? Like, is they trying to make them fall down or mess up?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it don't. I'm like, man, but that goes to, like I'm saying, like all these, some of these people that be getting hurt is the older players, like Jason Peters. We keep bringing him back. He can't stay healthy. DJ, he play one drive. We don't see him no more. Alshon Jeffrey, you don't know if he hurt when Wentz in, but if Hurts come in, he's all good and dandy then. Like we just keep these old guys around.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, bro. We need a facelift. I think that's what they call them. I'm getting to that age that I got to start learning all these rejuvenating words as a old man, so I can get my the wrinkles. There's smile wrinkles apparently. And we're going in a whole nother.
Oh, that team doctor's getting his money's worth of pay.
Bro, where are the smoothies? That's what if we can call Chip up and just be like, bro, just send us your smoothie recipe. Send us the Pinterest, article that you got your smoothie recipe from, because this is just bad. I've never seen any team go through this.
And Joy, I want to ask you a question because I heard you say it earlier. Like when you said about the reports of Carson Wentz earlier today, what happened? I don't know. What was the reports? I ain't hear it.
So what happened was this was before the Colts played today. So what happens is depending on – so Rappaport said on TV today, so depending on if Brain fart. Colts quarterback. Philip Rivers, sorry. Depending if because there's some rumors going around that he might be retiring after this year, depending if they win or lose this game, or I don't know. The future is up in the air for Philip Rivers. So Rappaport pretty much said that the Eagles and Carson Wentz, it might be a relationship that might not work out for the better going into next year. So there are rumors going around that Carson Wentz has and wants to play for Frank Reich in Indianapolis. And, obviously that is a trade destination for Carson Wentz. And that was on TV. I'm actually going to make a video about it tonight. This way it's out there, and I'll put the link for the video down there as well. But it was very interesting. And at this point, I've kind of already known this. And then that was just from Carson not showing up to the media, the exit media days, after the last game. I think it really showed that, he's not going to fight this, and he's just going to go into, I think the relationship is just broken now. I think after benching Wentz, and him just not taking anything as a challenge, you get paid all that money to kind of, the outside noise has got to be gone when we get paid that money. Like I said earlier about Aaron Rodgers when they drafted a quarterback, he takes it as a challenge. He's not going to be like, oh, well, I don't like that. I don't like how they drafted a quarterback. Like if Carson Wentz didn't have enough look, I'm on Carson Wentz's side for some things, but there's some things where you got to be like, you got to take it as a challenge. You got to prove not to just the fans and the organization, but to yourself that, you're a competent quarterback that can come back and can do some good things. So obviously he knew Jalen Hurts was torching him during practices and just playing better. And I think he was afraid that as soon as Jalen Hurts got a little bit of success, and then what made it worse was Jalen Hurts came in and had success, and pretty much Carson's like, oh, here we go again. Here it's starting all over again. But I think Carson is scarred from this organization. I think he's just had bad luck here. And unfortunately, people are talking about this. He's got to walk in and, look at the Nick Foles statue. Like, let me tell you something. There, like you said earlier, about there's other organizations that have statues and this and that. I mean, it is what it is. But unfortunately, I think the relationship is broken. I think he's mentally scarred, and I think honestly, I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a win-win for us because we'll get picks for Carson Wentz. We'll get picks for Zach Ertz. And you know what? The more draft picks between this year and next year, the better it's going to be. But I'm tired of it. It was after 2017, and I always had that. I was always putting my hands together and praying that I always had this hope that he'd come back to his. I mean, how many more years is it going to pass by and go back 2017? It's already been a few years already. Like, how many more times? The guy's lost all his mobility. The guy's shown us he can't even throw a pass. He underthrows, overthrows, misses receivers early in the season. Couldn't even throw a screen pass, throw him behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, it's just as bad as it can get. Like, I know quarterbacks in the league that there's quarterbacks like Tom Brady. Tom Brady regressed this year, definitely. He threw a lot of picks, a good amount of picks this year. Like, he was struggling with a new team, but this guy's regressed ridiculously. And there might be a big chance that Carson Wentz might go to another team and be successful, but he just needs new scenery. I think he just needs a new team, needs a new coach. He just needs to get can't handle the Philly media, can't handle Phil. I just think he's soft in some ways, but I blame the front office before anything. From drafting Hurts, from not even just that, but how they played Carson Wentz early in the season, not even running the ball. I mean, it's already enough that Carson Wentz gained another 150 pounds of what it looks like. but at the same time, you don't give him a run game. Your game plan is crap. You're like the game. The playbook is one page long. I mean, that's how bad it is. So, I'm not blaming everything on Carson, but, a lot goes to Doug, and most of it goes to Howie Roseman, definitely. And all of it goes to Jeffrey Lurie at the end of the day. So, I mean, they gave Doug Pearson, they gave him his whatever he wanted to do, have all these offensive assistants and ready to sink or swim. And obviously he sunk pretty bad. So this is where we've come to. And I don't think Carson Wentz is going to be here.
Yeah. My thing with Wentz is like, back in the day, like when I won't say back in the day, but a couple years ago with Aaron Rodgers, when a lot of Packers fans were kind of blaming everything going on around him instead of saying he had an off year, I was kind of like, I would never want my quarterback to be that vocal about what's going wrong. I would never want my quarterback to be vocal and say what he wants. I would love that right now. I would have loved for Carson Wentz to come out, week 6, week 7, and say, we need to run the ball. We need to do this instead of making it a team thing. Because while the whole team has been bad, don't get me wrong, coaching has been bad, everything, there are simple things that you can say as a franchise quarterback and as someone we paid to lead this team that I think could have maybe not fixed this team, but could have like got the ball rolling a lot earlier than, we actually did, because it took basically him getting benched for what needed to happen for him to be helped happen. If that makes sense. So it's I do think he got unlucky, and I do think that in many ways we just never put anything forward to try and help him. But we've never done that with any quarterback. You can go back to Donovan McNabb. You can go back to Vic if you want to go that close. You can go back to Randall Cunningham. You can go back to a lot of these quarterbacks. We did not put anything around these players. I think the best, wide receiver and quarterback duo we had was like Jaws and Harold Carmichael. And that was like, what, 40 years ago? Like that was a long time ago, man. So I don't know. We have to change as a whole organization because it's not working. It's definitely not.
Yeah, the culture is just really bad. It's just like I mean, like I said, if there was fans in the stadiums this year, I think decisions would have been made a lot earlier because there would have been violence. It would have been really bad in Philadelphia.
But
if Carson Wentz goes off, I promise you, I will have the same energy. I will be happy for him, but I'll be happy if the Eagles. I don't care who the quarterback is. Go ahead.
But then you're gonna have those Eagles fans that are gonna go online. They're gonna go online and they're going to post like, if Carson Wentz does good, they're gonna say we should have let him go. He's gonna score touchdowns. So just say for the Colts, just for example, he's gonna score touchdowns. He's gonna win 5-6 games straight. And those Eagles fans, like that's what I can't talk about. Like you can't. The guy is probably going to be successful somewhere else. Like this is why Rasul Douglas and Sidney Jones, and even LJ Fort, not even 2 games with the Ravens. He got a 4-year extension. I mean, it's telling you that something's wrong with the coaching here at the end of the day.
Yeah. And to your point, that's what I said, like on my live streams. I'm like, y'all can't, they tried doing that with Reggie White. Like, yeah, Reggie White, if Reggie White was still alive, yeah, he was with the Eagles first, but he gonna always have love for the team that he won the Super Bowl with. You know what I'm saying? Just like T.O. been all around the world, but his best success was with the Philadelphia Eagles. So he gonna always have love for the Eagles. Same with Brian Dawkins. He went to 2 teams. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what we'll do. But my thing about, like Carson Wentz, fighting for his job. Yeah, you want him to fight for his job, but it's like, how much more fighting can you do? At some point, you get like mentally tired. Like I wouldn't even say mentally weak. You get mentally tired because I feel like at some point, they always have reports out saying Carson Wentz this, that. I wouldn't be surprised. It got so bad. I wouldn't be surprised that they'll say Carson Wentz hate babies at this point. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you want him to fight for his job to show that he could go out there and beat Jalen Hurts for it. But it's like after getting bad so much, just getting bad, it's pure bad so long. You can't keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? So my thing about it is like I don't want Carson Wentz to go nowhere, because if you look at our track record for the Philadelphia Eagles and all their star players, Reggie White was with us. He left to the Packers, became a Super Bowl champion. Randall Cunningham, he was with us. He became I think an MVP with the Vikings or something like that. Let me see who else. Rasul Douglas, Sidney Jones, Nelson Aguilar. Like every time that somebody leave from us, they get better.
Stefan Wisniewski became left guard. After he left, he went left guard to the Kansas City Chiefs, won a Super Bowl. I mean, it goes on and on.
Alejandro Villanueva, how you say his name? He's like their franchise left tackle over in Steelers. So like,
defensive end with us. So
you can go down.
So my thing about it is like, you want him to stay. You want him to fight for the job, but it's like, how much more fighting can you do? Like when, Deshaun Watson is getting praised for going 4-12. Yeah, he had a statistical good season, but stats don't accumulate to wins. Look at Jameis Winston. He threw for 5,000 passing yards and 30 touchdowns, but also threw for 30 interceptions when he was with the Buccaneers. He didn't go nowhere. So like how are we so critical of our quarterback that we have. But when it's like somebody like Deshaun Watson, we excuse him because he didn't have a good coach, or he didn't, but he had 2,000-yard receivers and his running back wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? He was just losing games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, my thing
And
with Wentz will always be his mentality.
huh?
If you're not willing to fight, I don't need you. My thing with Wentz is always going to be his mentality. If you're not willing to fight for your job, then you can go. I can deal with one bad season. Don't get me wrong. Like we've said millions of times, every quarterback has had a bad season. It's about how you fight back. So when you go to the Colts, if you guys have a couple bad games, you have a couple injuries, are we going to get the same Wentz? Are you going to just curl up in a ball and die? So, like another team has to think of that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's fair. But my thing about it is that's never been his mentality because he's taken the blame for everything. You know, he has, like, even if you look at last season, we scored like 30-some points against the Dolphins. But our defense couldn't stop Devontae Parker. And he still took the blame for that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say, like, people always say, not you guys, but if people in the media always say that he's weak, like the man tore his ACL and still threw a touchdown pass plays after. The man was getting beat up by the Ravens and still was out there trying to get a team to win, or at least tie the game.
Facts.
Yeah, I say they definitely set him up in the worst way possible, and I don't think like they drafted a quarterback in the second round, and they were just all smiles and all like they didn't think there was going to be no drama around this whole thing. Like I don't get it. Like I understand the concept that you want to instead of going in free agency every year and getting a backup quarterback. I understand because we paid Chase Daniel a lot of money. We made him like the highest paid backup quarterback in the league at that point in 2016. But when it comes to other things, like when you have a quarterback in Carson Wentz that mechanics wise and not having a run game and too many voices in the coaching staff, or having Press Taylor that's really has done nothing in his career besides be a community college quarterback with no NFL experience because he's Doug's friend. There's just so much that goes into it, and if Carson goes somewhere, good luck to him. And I just don't. I don't blame him for not showing up to the media the last day. It is what it is. Some people call him, he's a coward. I called him a coward for it, but at the same time, I understand because he's going to get ripped apart. And you know how much of a going into this year, just say they keep both of these guys coexisting in the same room. Like, just imagine you're going to have a QB competition. Like, it's going to be the most embarrassing thing for this team this year.
Yeah, because Carson Wentz going to go into there like saying, like, I'm the guy you pay. I should be the QB1. And then Hurts going to come in saying, like, even though I only won one game out of the four, I feel like I tried and I played kind of decent or really decent enough for me to be the QB1. Because that's why I said, like you said, you can't go in here with a quarterback controversy or quarterback competition because both guys going to feel like they should be the QB1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sad. We don't have the culture to really support QB controversy right now. Unfortunately, it's an annoying thing. I mean, but if you look back at Donovan McNabb's career, you look at players like Jeff Garcia. I want to say Kevin Cobb, Feely. These aren't great quarterbacks, but they came in and they had some success with the Eagles. And right after they came out, or if we lost a playoff game, whatever it may be, McNabb was our starting quarterback the next year. There was never any controversy and I put it mainly on McNabb. There was never controversy because McNabb knew he was the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it is Carson getting it in his own head, saying, maybe I can't keep up with this kid, or maybe I don't want to keep up with this kid. But for me, you're getting paid $100 million, man. You walk in that room like your stuff don't stink. You know what I'm saying? And you take your job back. Like, I don't care, because to me, this, even as another franchise, I'm looking at this situation and I'm just thinking to myself, like, what if we go draft a quarterback in the third round or something in 2 or 3 years? I'm gonna have to deal with this from you, Carson. You know what I'm saying? It's just a bad look all around. But I mean, either way, man. But I think we're gonna start heading out of here. But Lenny, I appreciate you coming on here, man. Showing support always, bro. And everybody that's in the chat, man. Be sure to go check out my guy Lenny too. As like he said, he's starting up his channel. He's really getting some stuff going. So I respect it, man. I love the hustle.
Appreciate it, y'all. Appreciate you for having me.
Yes, sir, man. Have a good night, brother. God bless.
Have a
Y'all
good
too,
night,
man.
All right. So yeah, shout out to everybody that's still in the chat. We're still at like 30. Be sure to hit that subscribe, hit that like button, hit all the links in the description. Press a bunch of buttons, man. Just press a bunch of buttons while you're here. But listen, Joey, I appreciate you so much for coming on here, man. It was a lot of fun. I didn't think we would go almost 3 hours.
No, I didn't either. You never know. Well, dude, time flies when you're talking about this. You know what I mean?
Seriously,
So-
we could go another 3 hours, but it's but anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate bringing me on to the channel. We've been, like I said, we've been working it out, and hopefully we do more of these. If you guys haven't checked my channel out, obviously, I actually just got hit by a copyright strike the other day, so I'm not gonna be able to stream till April 5th if you guys end up subscribing or whatnot. So yeah, I actually made a backup channel on my channel as well, so you'll see that in all my descriptions to my videos and stuff like that. But just gonna be pumping out videos of the season. You know, the off season is my bread and butter, if you guys don't know. Come out with everything, and hopefully we'll get together with you and a lot more other YouTubers as well, and we'll get together and really talk about this off season as it comes closer. So but I appreciate it, man.
Definitely, man. It was my honor, man, for real. And yeah, we got a lot of content coming for y'all. Like we've been saying all stream. This is gonna, at the very least, be a very entertaining off season for the Eagles. So I appreciate everybody that's in the chat that has hung out with us for these almost 3 hours, like I said. But other than that, man, y'all know what it is, man. It is Fly Eagles Fly. We are out.